Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today again. We are excited today. Yeah. I got to tell you, Jimmy, you don't know why you're excited
No,
yet.
But I'm full strength. I'm excited about that.
It is. That's true. Jimmy's feeling better from
right
his
the fuck back in this thing.
Rib injury, so he's ready to laugh it up and have a good time. I'm excited because this case is... I've been saving this one and savoring it. This is like I've had like an all-day Sunday sauce on.
Smoking this
I'm
meat.
stirring it, reducing it.
Hell yeah.
It's so good. Just so good. I can't wait.
Juicy.
Remember last week with Steve Skinner and people were like, oh, sounds like Omar and all that? Well, wait till you hear this week.
Great.
Let me tell you something. Quickly before we start, though, those iTunes, not even iTunes, Apple Podcast reviews, they help a lot. Those purple icon reviews, I don't know why, but 5 stars, please give us reviews. They help a lot. They drive us up the charts, so you're doing good work if you do that. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder and crime and sports, and especially get ready for October the 29th, Thursday, and it's going to be playing for 48 hours after that. You can still buy it. We are going to do the virtual live show. We're excited for this. It is the prisoner dating game, all violent felon edition. That way, everybody in there has done bad things.
The worst.
And I make sure that I really look into the cases, too. I make sure that this isn't like nobody got railroaded. I don't want to be making fun of somebody who's sitting in there. They have enough problems if that happened.
So waiting on their appeals.
Yeah, no, we don't do that.
We're trashing them.
No, I'm like, that person definitely cut that other person's head off. I'm going to put that on the list and see if Jimmy picks them.
Great.
So I give Jimmy 4 bachelors, 4 bachelorettes. He picks one of each. He doesn't get to see them at all. You guys will get to see them at home, but he won't get to see them, and we'll just give him their description on their little dating profile. He'll pick one of each, and then at the end there, he gets to see who he chose. Not only that, we get to find out what everybody did, and it's a shitload of fun. So get on that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Do that right now. October the 29th, that's a Thursday. If you want to get more content, you can do that very easily. You can be a Patreon contributor, and you will get lots of stuff for that. Number 1, Jimmy will mispronounce your name.
You bet.
He will. He'll try to pronounce it right, but he won't. That's what'll happen. Number 2.
It's so depressing.
Well, no, it's when you. That's the thing. People make fun of Jimmy for the names. Oh, look at this. Okay. Read 400 names quickly and have them not John Smith, Paul Jones. Have them be all
different ethnicities and cultures.
And then sometimes it's a phrase and not a word. Do that and
throw
see if
some
you
numbers in that
see
bitch.
if you can get Straczynski on the first fucking try. You know what I mean? It's difficult.
And then
so I'm
mix in that I'm kind of dumb.
And you have bad handwriting.
Yeah.
So if you add all that in, it's a rough stew, and Jimmy's trying his best, so leave him alone. No, they like it, actually. But not only will you get that, but you will also get bonus material. Tons of bonus material. You'll really, really want last week's bonus show, by the way. It was sports team songs. Basically, athletes singing about what they're doing. Not like Shaq Fu, not their albums, but like the 86 Mets singing Let's Get Metsmerized. You want to hear Lenny Dykstra rap? Want to hear Hulk Hogan rap? Want to hear Oral Hershiser rap? Well, if you've ever wanted to hear any of those things and hear us make fun of them, you want to see that. And the Small Town Murder bonus, which you'll also get access to, was bonkers last week. Women trying to resurrect Jack the Ripper because one of them thought that she was Jack the Ripper's mother in a previous life. I'll leave it at that, and you can go from there.
It's a good story.
It's a good story. It's insane. Patreon.com/crime and sports for all of that good stuff. And if you just want to be a wonderful person with good karma and throw a few bucks on PayPal, every dime is appreciated. Thank you so much. You can do that at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Let's do this.
Great.
Let's get into this because it's a wow. Let's start out here.
Story.
You've never heard of this guy, I guarantee.
Okay.
Although you've probably seen him fight. Didn't know it was him. He was in a nameless, kind of a faceless, nameless group of people, and we'll talk about
like
what group
undercard?
that is.
Oh, okay.
No, of people who fought somebody, and you've seen the fight, but you saw it, and it would happen so fast you didn't even realize it was him.
Great.
We're going to talk about Reginald Gross.
No,
Reggie Gross?
No.
Okay, I didn't either
Nothing.
until I found him for the show, but Reggie Gross, the boxer here. He is born January 1st, 1962.
Okay.
All right, he's born in Baltimore, and he is Baltimore through and through, all the way from the start to the end. And he is, if you've read the David Simon homicide book that I've talked about a lot, you will recognize names in this story. You'll recognize streets.
Awesome.
And yeah, if you read that and if you watch The Wire, you basically know, have in your head like a map of like the West Baltimore drug areas. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And so this story, I was like, oh yeah, I know that's this street. Yeah, that's where that guy got killed. I know where like weird 80s Baltimore drug murders happen.
Awesome.
And this is like, I've heard of these people that got killed, and it's a very, very, very crazy story. This story, really wild. So let's start at the beginning here, when he was 3 days old. This guy, I mean, shit happens and tragedy happens and craziness happens, sometimes of his own volition, sometimes of no fault of his own.
Okay.
Right from 3 days old.
Still got the salve on his eyes.
Oh, he hasn't even lost his,
He's still
his
got
umbilical cord
Still got
yet.
that paper clip.
They still, still got the plastic thing on his. They haven't even clipped it off his wrist yet. This is what's going on here. 3 days old. We'll talk about a place called The Last Stop, which was a little bodega, basically, a little convenience store, wedged between an auto repair place and, like a city building. It was just kind of a, shitty little bodega, basically. Okay. And there's an abandoned gas station near there. This is a shit neighborhood in West Baltimore in the 60s. It's declining very quickly. And basically, this Last Stop, it used to be a liquor store, and now it's kind of an all-purpose convenience store. Basically, if on The Wire, the one that, what's his name? Was it Fat Andre? There was the one that Chris shot the lady in his store, and then they hit him with the gun and made him say it's Omar. Oh. That guy. Fat Face Andre, I think. Basically, that's the store he runs.
Is that the same store that Omar was shot in?
Different story, I think.
Similar,
same thing.
Setup,
exactly, same shit there.
Got it. The plexiglass.
With the plexiglass, the bulletproof glass, and people come, you can buy booze and whatever the fuck. But they got a little bit of everything here. So this place, this corner, this area will play a big role in his life, starting with 3 days old and bookending later on. But at 3 days old, it starts out, we'll let him say it, quote, "I was only 3 days old when my father was stabbed to death right in front of the Last Stop."
Oh, no.
So he was hanging out in front of there, just with, some people hanging out. And I don't know if a fight broke out or what the fuck it was, but he got stabbed to death. And right there when he was 3 days old. So
Jesus,
that's tough.
He wasn't there though.
No, he wasn't there. Luckily, I don't think he'd remember it either. Can't even see that shit at 3 days.
First memory, watching my dad bleed out on the sidewalk.
My vision came into focus right at that moment in time. Couldn't even smile.
Slid off.
Yeah, I was still holding on to somebody's index finger, and happened anyway. So this is obviously a bad start.
It's terrible,
and it's foreshadowing for the rest of his life here. He says, quote, "My mother said he was celebrating my birth." He's out hanging out.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do.
Gas station.
Yeah, well, whatever your arena is.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a bar you hang out at,
right.
if it's they hang out in front of a liquor store.
Maybe he was buying one of those It's a Boy cigars.
You never know. In Baltimore, too, and on The Wire, this is explained by Bunny Colvin when he's trying to talk about legalizing drugs at the time, and he talks about the liquor in the paper bag.
Yeah.
And he said that was, on a warm night, shit like that, or even a cold, whatever, people are outside, they want to hang out, they want to have a drink. That's like, if in a poor neighborhood, that's the tavern. You know, in a real shit neighborhood, the corner's the tavern, the corner's the pub.
A few bottles, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's no, you know, it might not be a bar that's right there. That might be too expensive. So you go by that and you hang out on the corner, talk to your friends, and that's what people were doing.
Okay.
So it was just like, that's just where to hang out. And so he was out there probably hanging out with his friends, talk about his son. And there we go. So my mother said he was celebrating his first son after having 2 girls. They say my father was a real hellraiser. Probably. Yeah. He was a father at 15 and already looked and acted like a grown man.
Good Lord.
So yeah, a harder breed, obviously, coming from back then. Those were a harder people. Yeah. Anybody born in, you know, or anybody that is coming up in the 40s.
Projects.
Yeah, his dad 15 and so his dad was probably born like, you know, at the beginning, middle of World War II.
Right.
So I don't care where you're from. That was just, if you're from a farm, the projects, it doesn't matter.
How old was he when he died?
They were a harder breed of people back then, and with color, creed, everything else aside, it was just different.
Early 20s, obviously, when he died, his dad?
Yeah, he was on his third
father
kid.
of 3. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Oh, my.
Imagine being the mother, who's also very young.
Yeah.
So
Poor thing.
It's rough, man. And his childhood was tough on him, and as a lot of kids, and especially from this area, it's not easy. No. It's a tough way to be raised. And he said that just fighting was always what he was into, fighting on the streets. And he's a big guy. He grows up to be 6'3", 220 pounds, muscular. Mm-hmm. He's an athletic, muscular guy, and he's got real quick hands and natural talent. As we'll talk about, his amateur career didn't last very long because he was ready to start fighting pros.
Awesome.
Pretty quickly. He had a lot of natural talent. And he's been fighting on the streets so much, he actually knew how to punch and knew what to do.
And knew how to take one.
He knew how to take one. Yeah, he can take a punch, as long as it's not from Mike Tyson, as we'll talk about.
All right.
Because boy, oh boy, that was a great fight. That's the thing. To get up to speed, you'll want to watch the Tyson-Reggie Gross fight. When we get to it, it's on YouTube.
Do I know who that guy is? Is he?
You've seen him.
Kind of like an Afro-ish Jerry curl?
No.
Who is that guy?
Probably Blood Green. He fought a bunch of guys.
It was
like
an early
Blood
fight.
Green had the.
He kind of looked like Gip from Goody Mob. He looked kind of shaggy and like string bean.
That's
tall.
Blood Green.
Is
man.
it?
It sounds like
really.
It sounds like you're describing Blood Green, but he fought a couple guys like that though. He fought a couple real like kind of string beanie guys in his.
It was like fight 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah, then
it was early.
Not, he didn't fight
he,
Blood Green.
Him.
He didn't fight Green till like fight 20 or 19 or some shit.
I think it's somebody else then.
Yeah. So he said when he was a kid, quote, "I was supposed to be home minding my 2 sisters." Older than him, by the way.
And he's got to take
How the fuck does that work?
Wow.
Babysit your older sister. Now I'm leaving. What? How is he in charge?
That's how big he is.
I get, but so there's 2 of them. So they have to be, one has to be at least 2 years older than him, at the least.
Yeah.
So are you being governed by your 2-year younger than you sibling?
Maybe.
You're like, fuck out of here with that. I don't know. So he's supposed to be doing that. He said Sharon and Denise are his 2 sisters, but I'd sneak out and join the guys on the corner. This is as a very young child here. These are guys on the corner. He's like 8. What are you doing on the corner? Every day I'd get in a fight and a gang would chase me home. But if I got caught or if I caught one alone, I'd beat the crap out of him. Then I'd go home and my mother would give me a good whipping. So he's going to get beat either way.
May as well win this fight.
It's like, either I'll get my ass kicked here, then I got to go home and get my ass kicked again.
Right.
So I better win the fight on the street because I'm not going to win the fight at home. Yeah, I'm not even going to fight back at home and let my mom kick my ass.
That one's going to hurt.
Yeah, I better win this fight. Right. I don't get 2 ass whippings today. Smart.
Yeah, they can only swing on one of these people.
Yeah, and this is the thing, too. He's not. This guy has brains, man. He's not an idiot whatsoever.
Sure.
He's very intelligent. He's got a lot going for him. He's got charisma. There's a lot going for this guy where you're like, what are you doing?
Fuck, Reggie.
What are you doing? Yeah. Like later on, you're like, why are you doing this? Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's really disturbing. It really is. So 1975 comes around, age 13, and he is already full-fledged running the streets, the streets have him already at 13. Sure. So there's that. He's out, does steal shit when he's 13. That's kind of his role. He's petty larceny, shit like that.
It's generally the game.
Yeah. He says, quote, "I grabbed some lady's purse.
Oh, no.
The cops caught me with a gun. It was a toy, couldn't shoot anything, but he purse snatched though.
Yeah.
And he gets arrested for that. and gets sent away.
Yeah.
The judge says, "You, small sir,
Sure.
tiny sir,
Little buddy.
little sir,
Well, buddy, you may piss
you
off.
little buddy may fuck off." He does. That's fucked up. And sent him to Montrose, which was a youth detention center for 5 years.
Holy shit.
That's a long time.
Past adulthood.
Yeah, he was 13.
To adulthood.
To adulthood, basically.
Wow.
Stay in there till you're an adult.
Holy fuck.
Till, whatever, the state wouldn't have to worry about you. Then we can put you in prison when you do something. It's their general why they're doing that.
Is that a good thing?
No.
I mean, yeah, that's
a crime training facility.
Right.
For a 13-year-old?
In the mind of the judicial system, it's let's get him off the street and keep him in a place where he doesn't think about crime. But now we're putting him in a place where that's all it is crime and criminals.
And not only that, these kids prey on each other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sexual assault like crazy. There's fucking, they're robbing each other, stealing from each other, beating the shit out of each other. This is a rough.
The judicial system thinks rough. This is a great idea and a great plan, but
for them, he's off the streets, out of the state's hair for 5 years.
Right.
So when he's an adult, like I said, then you put him into the system, and we don't have to worry about him anymore. Then if he does anything, just throw him in prison and fuck him. That's how the system goes.
We gave him a chance.
Yeah, to quote, we gave him a chance.
We got him away from the criminals on the street and put him in here.
Yeah.
With all the criminals, the bad criminals that get caught.
Yeah.
That are scarier people.
That's it.
That's horrifying.
He's fucking Randy on The Wire. You can put that in. He's the Randy kid, where he's like, now he's in a home, except Randy didn't do anything wrong. They just put him in a home. This is an actual detention center. So this is rough. So he says, that's where I first learned to fight. Yeah, when you're 13 going in a place like that, you better fucking fight or you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not going to have shit.
They're going to pick on you.
Oh, I would say, yeah. But he was a pretty tough kid and growing quickly as well. It helps, too, to be taller. They think you're older and people won't pick on you quite as much. So that definitely helps. He said, when I got out at 18, I thought I was real tough. I was working on a construction gang and bragging to everybody that I was another Ali. A couple of the guys knew Mac Lewis and his fighters. They said, if you're that good, stop running your mouth and go prove it.
Oh.
Now, Mac Lewis is a local trainer. Yeah, he's a local manager trainer, trains, kind of undercard, rec league fighters, kids, youth. He gets youth into boxing.
Fundamentals and
he's Dennis Wise.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is all based on, you'll see if you watched The Wire, everybody's based on somebody or, combinations of people.
Characters, yeah.
This is one of the guys who made the Dennis Wise character.
Okay.
And Dennis Wise is actually a real person. Too.
Really?
His name was Dennis Wise. There's a real Dennis Wise, but he had a different story than that.
Okay.
He was like I don't think he ever reformed, Dennis Wise.
Really?
No, the real one I think just ended up being a
piece of shit.
Life in prison for murder type of thing.
Just a product of his environment.
They talk about him in the Homicide book as one of the most badass gangsters on the street, and I think he got put away forever. But this guy is he's got the picture Dennis Wise's boxing center. That's what this is.
Got it.
Where he's going here. So he gets out there. By the way, 1978, when he gets out at 18, right away he's convicted of a handgun violation really quickly.
A real one.
And assault with intent to murder.
Oh, boy.
So that's right away. Or I'm sorry, that was 1980 because he just got out of the Montrose there. So, handgun with intent to murder. But it's his first adult crime.
So they treat him liberally?
So he gets put on probation.
Okay.
Which is when you're 13, you have a toy gun and you snatch a purse, 5 years.
No intent to hurt anybody.
No, it would have been impossible. Toy gun. When you're 18 and you have an illegal handgun with intent to murder, then there's probation. What the fuck are we talking about?
Our system's a little backwards.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
An adult versus rather than a child, you could maybe correct that when they're 13 in a way. I don't know. It's possible. By 18, it's over. Pretty much.
Is that just policy correcting policy? Is that what that probably is?
Overcorrection? Is that like an umpire that blows one on the outside corner, calls a strike in the dirt on the next fucking one? Like, hey, I got to give him one back. Is that what you're talking about?
We
Wide
fucked you a little bit.
Calls a phantom, pass interference because he blew the last one. Is that what you're talking about?
It's nuts.
It could be.
It's weird.
They're playing with people's lives.
It doesn't make any sense, that's for sure. It's certainly hypocritical and backwards.
I would say
it's not giving children a fucking chance.
No. Well, not these kids. They don't give two fucks about these kids. And they don't. They're throwing these kids away. They're like, where they're from, Jesus. They'll be lucky if they'll be dead when they're 30 anyway. That's the way they thought about it. It's fucking sad.
Yeah.
So he spends the time in the group home for juvenile offenders, a kiddie jail.
Right.
So when he's there, he'd meet somebody who helps him because he was always fighting. But when he was in jail, actually, he met somebody that kind of got him interested in actually boxing, though.
Okay.
And he met what he called, quote, Sugar Ray Leonard's sister's boyfriend.
Oh, my God.
Is it there? So
who gives a fuck?
Okay.
I met a car salesman. Who knows
Sugar Ray Leonard's sister's boyfriend.
Fucking who gives a shit?
That's what I mean. But when you really think about it, though, in the 70s, if you're poor and from this neighborhood, you've met Sugar Ray Leonard?
You
know what I'm
stood
saying?
next to him? That's crazy.
He was in the Olympics at that time.
Right.
Like, you met that guy? Mm-hmm. Hold on a sec. You fucked his sister? Like, you've had his DNA on your cock. That's amazing. Can you rub a little bit of it on me, and then I'll just on my pants, and then I'll just, I'll get fighting. I'll be better at it.
I'm sure that's how his thought process.
I'm sure that's what happened, right?
I don't believe you. Let me smell your finger.
Hold on a second here. Yeah, I don't see that. You get her to send you a pair of her underwear.
Right.
I'm going to do a compression thing and see if I can get just a speck of genetics out of them. Maybe I can be a better fighter. So, but I mean, that was like, oh shit, you met that guy?
Yeah.
So I guess that, by the way, he never remembered what this guy's name was, just Sugar Ray Leonard's sister's boyfriend.
He's a big deal.
Yeah. And I guess Sugar Ray had taught this kid some basics of training, just like, hey, this is this is how you want to shadow box. This is what you want. Just shit like that, training exercises and stuff. Just because the kid probably said, "How do I box?" And he was like, "Here, do this."
Right.
Here, fucking that's perfect. You're doing great. So he ended up showing Reggie this stuff, and Reggie said he learned to block punches and to shadow box a little bit, and he jogged every day. So when he was in there toward the end, he was kind of training like he was a fighter, and then he gets out on the construction site and starts bragging that he's going to be Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But he's like, laying concrete, not training to box at all. So it's kind of weird.
Hilarious.
So they told him, why don't you go there? At this point, he's 6'3". He's muscular.
Yeah.
He's like 185 pounds or something. Still thin, but solid and muscular and quick, too, and athletic. He also, this year, when he gets out, he has his first child of 4.
Oh, boy.
He's going to have 4 this year. This child, the first one, is a son. Mm-hmm. He names him Philip.
Okay. Good work, Reg. Nothing to be proud of yet, sir.
Dodged a bullet on that one. Whew. I got a little worried.
Yeah.
Reginald Jr. was coming, but nope. No Junior. All right.
Philip.
He's doing well. Philip. That's fine. I don't know if it's a family name or what the fuck, but
trying to buy a lot of Oxford shirts.
It's great.
Philip.
The name is Kid Philip.
All right.
It's better than Junior.
It is.
This is what I mean. We can't talk bad if they name him Junior. They names him. He could name him Aloysius. He could name any fucking stupid name he wants to.
Grover. I don't give a shit.
Fine.
Yeah.
Great. It's better than Reggie Jr.
Right.
So this is when he gets into boxing on the outside, and it turns out this Mac Lewis guy is going to be what he calls one of the few positive influences on any that he's ever had in his life.
Okay.
This guy treats him like a son.
Yeah.
He's a trainer and he trains kids, and
it's a cool fucking name.
It's cool, and Reggie is a talented motherfucker that he can see right when he walks in the door. He was like, "Oh shit, this guy's going to be something." So, he really gives him a lot of extra attention, as anybody would.
Yeah.
So the gym that he had, it was converted from a dance hall into a gym. So just like, Dennis Wise style.
Plenty of room.
This was, he had it for 41 years.
Oh.
Not when he had come in, but when it's closed finally. So it was open totally for 41 years. He had some contenders, some club fighters, like I said, kids, that sort of thing. He'd take, pretty much anybody in there. He said that though Reggie says the first time he came into the gym, straight from the, straight from where he was doing time for assault there. He said he has done a lot of time for assault over the years, he says, because he keeps getting put in and out. Right. So he's always getting picked up for something. Yeah. He said, quote, I came up these stairs a couple of times and I ran back down, talking about into the gym. He says, thinking about it, he says, I smelled the sweat. It smelled mean. I finally got the heart. I used to fight all the time. I was bad, beating up girls. What?
Reggie did?
What? Yeah.
What?
He said, I used to fight all the time. I was bad. Beating up girls, fighting anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Beating up girls?
That's not good at all.
Why were you beating up girls? Okay, I get if you're running the streets, you got shit going on, even if you're into some like drugs and shit like that, you're beating up girls? What are you beating? Why
are you in confrontations with girls?
Bitch, I will punch you. Yeah. Why? For what? Because that doesn't sound like, I had a girlfriend and we had domestic violence, which is bad enough. He's just beating up girls in the street. This is fucking terrible. So
the guy that'll hit girls just on a whim is kind of a scary dude.
I mean, usually that guy's a pussy, though.
Yeah, but
this guy's not.
If he'll do it in front of people, that's kind of scary. That guy'll do some wild shit.
Yeah, probably. That's he's got murder eventually coming.
It's certainly on his mind.
If it's in front of people, you don't care really what's this, because really you can't expect anyone to judge that well.
Yeah.
No one's going to look upon that and go, good job, she needed it. She needed that one, I'll tell you what.
That's right. Impressive.
The backhand was a bit much, but I think your general idea. Yeah. No one's doing that. No. Everyone's like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? So that's a good way to get your ass kicked by
a lot of people.
By a shitload of people, yeah. Because that's like the ultimate excuse of like, well, he was beating up his girlfriend, so everyone
so
goes,
we all just kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, I can see that. No one would have a problem with that. So
and anybody that stands by should get their ass kicked.
That's what I mean, yeah. So he's beating up girls, fighting everybody. He said, I figured I might as well make some money doing it. My way out is my dukes. Just like Jesse James and his guns, I'm good with my dukes. Okay. So put up your dukes. Yeah. He's coming for you.
Jesse James is like robbing folks.
Well, so is he. I mean, what are we talking about?
A comparison.
I think it's really apt for this guy. Wait till you hear later on. Jesse James would have been like, Jesus, dude.
Wish I was as good.
Calm the fuck down, bro. No, he would have been like, that was fucked up. He would make Jesse James do this look. And look away. That look. Or
yeah. Fuck, man.
Look for a second, side eye, and just, I can't even look at this person. That's what he would do. Jesus. I don't know. He says, Mac Lewis says about him fighting, quote, Reggie was a good fighter, and basically he's a very quiet man. This I never see, by the way. I don't know who the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to be nice in the paper because Reggie's anything but a quiet man. He's a very gregarious, boastful kind of guy.
Yeah.
Nothing quiet about him in boxing anyway. He says that, but whatever he did, he always did it on his own. So he said he always has like an independent streak to him.
Oh, I admire that.
I admire that, yeah. But in boxing, that's kind of tough because you're trying to keep basically a runaway train on tracks when it's a boxer because it's a young, volatile person who's full of testosterone and confidence. And you're like, don't fuck too many women.
Yeah.
Don't party too hard, even though everyone wants to be around you.
Stay away from drugs, even though that's going to help
even though they'll be free. They'll be free and will help you get more women, which you also want, but you shouldn't have. That's a lot to ask of somebody, you know what I mean? And then also when you're out, people, if they fuck with you, you're going to be able to kick their asses.
Right. Don't you dare.
Take their shit, and then don't fuck their girlfriend. Or take the drugs that she has. Like, that's a lot to ask of a young person.
And then we're going to put money in your pocket and make you feel invincible.
That's the other thing. Yeah, make you feel like every decision you've made is correct because it must be. Look at my bank account.
Obviously. How much money do you have?
See?
You wrong motherfucker.
Duh. Oh, and if that's not good enough, I can just punch you better. So there's that.
You couldn't be more wrong. Just look at your bank versus mine, and if that doesn't convince you, I'll punch you in the mouth.
And then there you go. We got it covered. We've covered both. All sorts of different avenues there.
Unreal.
So Lewis said, quote, he has real athletic ability, but he's not very conscientious. So, and that's the thing about him, is training regimens. He's not he likes to party. He likes to do his own thing. Okay. And he's got other stuff going on the outside, as we'll find out. Boxing is not his only profession.
Oh, no.
He's got other shit popping off that most people it would be a full-time thing. And he's like, I'm going to fight, Mike Tyson on the side. It's fucked, man. It's really fucked. So he says, though, that Mac Lewis, everybody says, was kind of a big source of pride, or Reggie was a big source of pride for Mac, because he was like he was going to be his golden boy after all the years. This was like the best fighter he's ever had. So he's very excited. They said that the other kids in the gym, were all like looked up to Reggie and envied him. Like, oh shit, he's going to be somebody. Mac says, quote, Reggie could have been a doctor. Reggie could have been a lawyer. Reggie could have been an outstanding basketball player. If he was right here, right now, you'd see the same thing. He wanted to fight. He wanted to make a name for himself. He's saying that, yeah, he had the brains to do anything he wanted to, but he was interested in fighting. So that makes sense.
Okay.
As an amateur, he says, this is Reggie talking. In 1 month with Mr. Mac, I was ready to fight.
That Mr. Mac. It's Mr. Lewis.
But he always calls him Mr. Mac.
Okay.
It's like calling somebody coach, I guess.
Yeah, yes.
And Mac Lewis always brings it up as like a sign of respect. Like, he's always been so respectful. Always calls me Mr. Mac to this day. Never stop calling. Always Mr. Mac.
Yeah, but Mr. John is not what you call somebody.
That's what
Mr. James.
That's what Consuela on The Family Guy would call somebody.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Peter. That's what it would be.
Right.
Exactly that.
It's a foreign thing.
It's a foreign thing. Yeah.
In America, we say Mr. and then your last name.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
It's a difference. So what are you going to do?
It's bizarre.
So 1 month he was ready to fight. He said, in 11 months I turned pro. 11 months. I was 19. I wore pro Keds for my first fight against a guy from Virginia.
Unreal.
He didn't even have like shoes for it. He used the purse money for it, to a couple $100 to buy shoes.
He bought like cheerleader shoes.
He's wearing fucking pro Keds, which is what that was like what people wore for basketball back then.
That's wild.
Fucking pro Keds. So that's what he was wearing on the street. So he just wore his street shoes in the ring, which the other guy must have thought, oh, I'm going to whoop this guy's ass. He's in street shoes.
Right.
And it didn't quite happen that way. We'll talk about him starting. We won't talk about his amateur career. He fought amateurs. There you go. Okay. His pro debut, January 7th, 1982, is at the Steelworkers Hall in Baltimore.
Awesome.
Oh, boy.
That is horrifying.
This is hard. This I picture the like the Union Hall in season 2 of The Wire,
right,
where they go to actually sign in for the job. Not like Frank's little trailer there. The actual hall. They put a ring in the middle of that, and there's a bunch of those guys going, I'm rooting for the white guy. There's a bunch of Polacks sitting there going, okay, white guy win. I don't know his fucking name. You know his fucking name? I don't fucking know. Beat that black guy up. I don't know the fuck.
And the audience watching this fight is tougher than the majority of the amateur fights around the country.
This is like a no holds barred Hulk Hogan movie situation. I feel like there's like sparks in the background and people are like doing foundry work around this fight for some reason.
Somebody's grinding a refrigerator door for no
there's
reason.
Sparks everywhere. Right. Welding masks on half the participants. One of those. They just stop welding for 5 minutes to watch this fight. Hold on a minute. We're on break.
It's a CNC Music Factory video.
Come on, white guy.
Right.
I got to get back to work in a minute. Hurry up and beat this black guy up and let me get back to this already. Come on. Fucking Polacks over there. So anyway, first fight, Steelworkers Hall. He fights Bluford Spencer.
Yep.
Blufort. Bluford.
Good Christ.
That's not a nickname. His name is Bluford. Which, who the fuck names their kid Bluford?
Wouldn't you just go by Blue?
Blue. Nope. Bluford. Bluford Spencer, who sounds like a guy who's got a bindle on a stick.
Or elderly as fuck.
Or this is my this is my Uncle Bluford.
Right.
He was in both wars.
Right. He's always wanted to die this way. Would you please put him out of his misery?
He's hunched over, just like, coming at you all slow and shit.
He woke up this morning, said he wanted a fat.
I don't know. He's got a 7-5 career total, Bluford here, and Reggie knocks him out in the first round for a 1-0 fight. Reggie's got two. He's got footwork. He likes to circle. He's loose with his hands. He's an entertaining fighter to watch fight when he feels like fighting.
Oh?
Well, he's got... There's some times when he's a little lackluster, and we find out why he was lackluster, and it's mind-blowing that he was even in a ring.
Just didn't want to fight.
No, not quite. I think he might have thought he was fighting well and just didn't realize what was going on because there was something else happening with his body.
Fantastic.
So,
in the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
So January 23rd, 82, 2 weeks later, he's in Virginia fighting at the Richmond Arena, and he fights Cowboy Charles Roy. Cowboy Charles Roy here.
Cowboy Roy.
Cowboy Roy has a 2-14 career record.
Christ, he's better at cowboying.
Yeah, that's maybe why. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not a boxer. I keep telling people I'm a goddamn cowboy. Nobody listens to me. They keep booking me fights.
I just want to rope and ride.
Jesus Christ. And if I'm booked, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on a poster. I got to show up. People going to be like, where is he? So I keep showing up there. I don't even want to do this. Jesus. Every goddamn time. Jesus Christ, they gave him 2 wins just to build up his confidence.
Poor fuck.
I don't want to do it anymore. Please, somebody stop this, please.
I just want beans in the open range.
Can I just please? Jesus Christ, I got crops and I got to move the herd. I need to shit.
Poor Roy.
Roy. This fight goes the distance, which is 4 rounds in these fights, but still goes the distance. Reggie wins by unanimous decision. I think the guy just probably had a good chin.
Yeah.
Cowboy. He's a cowboy.
Just ran around a lot.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man. No, I'm serious. What the fuck? Dude. I'll let you fucking just stop trying to hit me, bro. Come on.
In the rodeo, 8 seconds is a win. I've been here. It feels like 11.
He's just moving all around. Hey, I got my. Listen, man, I don't shit. Okay, you listen. Okay, he fights here April 24th, 82 in Richmond, Virginia. Again, he fights John Green, who is a 2-12 career fighter as well. So not good. Oh. He fights a lot of shitty fighters.
Just disappears.
Yeah, which makes sense. He's a kid and he has very little experience, so he's only been fighting amateur for 11 months. So you don't want to put him in there with anybody too crafty, because a lesser fighter could win in a fight against somebody who's way more talented just because they know a couple of tricks of how to keep the guy at bay and hold on to him for 4 rounds. You never know. So this one here, this is a KO in the first round for Reggie, making him 3-0. So he's having a pretty good time here. May 17th, 82. He's really stacking them. Yeah. This is quick.
In the first 4 months, he's got 4 fights.
He's got 4 fights right away. This is at the Hilton Hotel in Baltimore. So moving up, I guess. No steel workers around, just, mediocre food. And,
over here in the banquet center.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's like weddings walking by in the background.
In the blue crab room.
Yeah, in the blue crab, you see like some giant train being carried by a bunch of bridesmaids as they look at the fight as they walk by. He fights Michael Staton, who's a 3-1 career fighter in the end, but he comes into this fight 2-0. Okay. So it's 2-0 versus 3-0. It looks like
it's legit.
Up-and-comer versus up-and-comer, and it goes the distance, all 4 rounds, and Reggie wins again, 4-0 for him. June 24th, 82, Resorts International, Atlantic City.
Oh.
Now you're stepping up.
Yeah.
You're placed with some gambling and shit like that. He fights Sonny Crooms, who sounds like he was just singing in the, in the lounge room, and he was like, I got to end my show now, everybody. I got a boxing match to get to. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, Blue Moon. Then he's like, all right, now seriously.
Listen.
They're announcing me. They're announcing
time.
me.
Pugilism.
I have trunks on under this. I have to go. That's Sonny Crooms.
Takes off a reflective suit.
Yeah, he's shark skin off. He's got trunks on. Yeah, it's
breakaway.
It's
shark
definitely
skin.
breakaway. Pow! He does that. That's what he does when he comes into the arena. He gets in the ring. Poof! Pulls it off. So he's a 1-6-1 career fighter.
Jesus.
So he's a better singer. I'm not sure.
He's only won one more fight than me.
Yeah. And it was the last fight before this fight is the one he won. So he came in kind of cocky.
Yeah.
So I'm going to win this fight, everybody. Yeah. And gets TKO'd in round 2.
God damn it.
It's like, oh, back to the lounge.
Yeah.
All right. 5-0 now for Reggie. July 9th, 82 at the Civic Center in Baltimore versus Charles Price. His career record, 4-13-1.
Ouch.
This is just a parade of tomato cans.
Just shit.
Just to get him used to punching people in front of other people.
Right.
That have paid, in a legal fashion. That's all. Punch people with gloves on. Practice doing that. There you go. This goes the distance, 4 rounds. Unanimous decision win. He's 6-0 here. September 23rd, 82. He must have taken August off that month.
Yeah.
That's weird. Every other month he's fighting. Very European of him. That's all. Yeah.
It's a summer vacation.
That's what it was. He was like, we're going to the south of France for August. You know how it is. Yes, we got.
I like to August in France.
I August in the south of France. It's very nice this time of year. It's wonderful. So, the breeze is just
the wines in August are wonderful.
The vintages
they harvest in the spring.
Oh my! Much better than a Baltimore crack rock, which is in season the rest of the year,
right?
But not August. So
to come back from the Baltimore Old English.
Yes, the Baltimore. We do the Baltimore. It's a malt liquor.
Yeah,
and
Baltimore Schlitz.
I head to the south of France, where I partake in many, many fine vintage wines. And that is my year.
Just for August.
That is my year, yes. So September 23rd, 82, he's fighting here. This is back at the Steelworkers Hall in Baltimore. Yeah. He's like, God damn it, here again? He fights Rick the Bomber Lanehart. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's got a 21-28 career record, though, total. So he's a journeyman. He's not some, pushover. He's been in a lot of fights, and he won 5 of his last 6 fights coming into this. So he was on an upswing, and this one goes all the way to the 6th round, so it's the longest fight he's ever been in, Reggie. But it's a TKO win for Reggie anyway.
Good for him.
7-0. So look at this. He's coming up here. December 16th, 82, Steelworker Hall again. Man, he loves it there. Yeah. This is versus Fred Brown, 18-39-2 for his career. Jesus. That's like a Tyson's Punch-Out opponent. Yeah. That's fucking awful.
It's depressing. The first guy.
Yeah, it's Glass Joe.
Right.
18-39-2. This is a KO win in round 2, which sounds like Glass Joe as well. 8-0. March 1st, 83, Civic Center in Baltimore.
Okay.
That's something. Yeah. People you know.
Downtown.
Yeah, people you know can come to that. It's exciting.
History.
He's fighting Prince Charles Williams.
Yeah,
of course.
I don't think it's that one.
Prince Charles Williams. We've talked about this guy once before. He's got a 37-7-3 career record.
Jesus.
And he knocked out Bobby Ches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we discussed him in the Bobby Ches.
Did he fight him twice?
I don't remember if he fought him. He might have fought him twice.
I think he fought him twice.
I think he was a TKO, and then he lost a decision to him or some shit.
Yeah. But Prince, it's because of the royalty that it rings a bell, I think.
Prince Charles Williams, which at this point in 83, that was right after the royal wedding.
Right.
That was
such a big deal.
He was trying to get this is pre-internet trying to get hits.
He's one of those fucking assholes that advertises for stand-up shows that Charlie Sheen might show up. One of those dickheads.
It's a rumor.
Yeah. Surprise, they'll never be there.
Now, so Prince never your shit show. So Prince Charles Williams was a pretty fucking good fighter here. Like I said, knocked out Bobby Ches, who was a champ at one point, and 37-7-3 is a hell of a fucking record. Mm-hmm. Reggie TKOs him in the first round.
Oh.
So this is that people start taking Reggie seriously at this point. Everybody before was like, hey, he's fighting nobodies. Yeah. Then he fought him. Everyone went, holy shit, he didn't last a round with this fucking kid. Right. Then we might be onto something here. This is when he really started turning heads. He remembers at one point here in March of 83. This will give you a hint of, because we've just given you, he's boxing, he's hanging out with Mac Lewis, he's training. He's doing other shit on the side. Like I said, he's got a second life because
Probation didn't clean it up?
No. It's shocking, right? There's not a lot of money in low-level boxing. If you're fighting at the Steelworkers Hall, honestly, how much money can you expect to get?
$100, $200.
That's what I mean. I think it's probably $200, $300, some shit like that. Because later on, he fights like name talent guys and still doesn't get paid shit.
Really?
Like, I don't know, because Mac Lewis is a lower level guy, and he even says like, later on he'll say like, I don't blame Mac because it's not his fault, but if I had a manager who was savvier,
negotiated some money,
but he trusted Mac. But he said, Mac never negotiated on that level before to ask what to ask for and what to get. So he would take $8,000 for a fight that's on TV against someone who's about to fight for the title. Like, that's bullshit. You can get more out of that guy because he needs you for that warm-up fight.
Right.
So you can get 50
you as much as you need him.
Instead of 50, he'll get 8,500, and it's like, what? How do you get 8,500?
God damn it!
He's on the undercard of Tyson Spinks, which was one of the biggest pay-per-views of fucking all time. It was a giant pay-per-view. I remember it's the 90-second fight of Tyson knocking him out. But that made so much fucking money. He made $8,500 for that fight. The fight. He's on the undercard. Jesus. It's like, what? 8,500?
Why would you?
It's because he needed the money.
Right.
So March of 83, he says that he's talking about an older man than him. Then he says a little older than him, a little savvier in the drug game and shit like that. A guy named Wimpy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I think they've used that in The Wire too as somebody's name here. Now Wimpy, he says, Reggie says, never knew his full name.
Of course not.
Just Wimpy. He says Wimpy drove a Datsun 280Z, which was hot shit in 1983.
Yeah. It's pretty hot today. Still.
It's pretty cool.
It's a
still,
car.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty dope little ride.
So little.
It's so tight.
And they haul ass.
I know. I can't.
They're so fast. You can't fit in it.
I can't fit in it. I knew someone as a teenager who had one, and it felt dangerous.
It is dangerous.
I was like, if this thing, I'll never get out of here. I'll be wearing this thing forever.
But it's a cool little car.
If I survive it, I'll have a door attached to me. This is going to be bad.
If you were my size, you'd like that car.
I want to fit in it.
Yeah.
If I like it now and I'm my size, I just can't do it. I want it.
All the Zs, all the Nissans and Datsun Zs are cool cars, except for maybe the new ones. The newer ones are
I don't want that.
It's kind of stupid.
The 80s, 90s ones are pretty dope. Yeah.
The twin turbo, those are great.
Those
300s.
The 83, like 83 this time with the pop-up headlights.
Right, pop-up headlights and the long front end. The little bubble cabin that you sit in.
Kind of like look like the RX-7 a little bit. Like they
it's
have
a cool
the same,
car.
Yeah, those were cool.
Sick little car.
When I was a kid, I liked those. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool, man. I'd see somebody with one of those.
It's like a fast little Aston Martin.
Yeah.
A cheap one.
Yeah. I get one just to put it in the garage now.
They're fucking expensive now.
I figured they'd be shit.
You can't get.
All right, never mind.
It's the cars that you liked. Those are the ones that are expensive.
Yeah, because other people like it
right? Because everybody else is like, oh, I liked it too.
Well, then I can't afford it then. But never mind. All right, I thought I'd get one for like $500 or something, and fucking just stick it in the garage. And
probably
look at it.
5 to 10 for one that runs.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I'm not paying that.
Nice ones.
No, I got a kid in college. I can't do that. All right, never mind. So anyway, bursting my bubble on a 280Z that I could just look at and have fun. Try to cram myself in. Hey, look at this. Wave at people. Not going to happen. Shit. So he says in March 83, he was driving with Wimpy in this car, and it's Wimpy's car. Gross is in the passenger seat. They're going to Atlantic City for a fight between Dwight Braxton and Michael Spinks.
They're going to watch.
They're going to watch, yeah. Which is it's a good fight. It's a light heavyweight fight. He says, quote, on the way up in the car, he showed me $80,000 in the glove compartment.
How now, are those glove boxes that big?
I guess so. Now, 80,000, first of all, in 1983 is a lot more than 80,000 right now.
Right.
A shitload more, at least double.
It's probably 200 grand.
Probably 200 grand. Not only that, it's in cash. Not only that, he has never seen that much cash in front of him before. So this is like, holy shit. He said, $80,000, exclamation point. I was green, man. I was living with my grandparents. I didn't know nothing. He whipped the cocaine out. It was raw, good stuff. One sniff and it made you want more. I knew I couldn't do it. But he did.
Yeah.
He said, I knew I couldn't, but I did. He said, quote, I had did it, but I stopped, is what he said. Right. I don't know about that.
But you're not gonna for a while now.
Yeah, now he's like, that felt good. Right. I don't want to do that anymore. So
I tried that, and the man that had that had $80,000.
That's what I mean.
I think I can do that.
So you have magic powder that makes me feel great.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, if you sell that to other people, then you get lots of money and you feel like you're magic at the same
you get
time.
To drive a fun car?
Yeah.
Why am I fighting?
I shouldn't do that.
Right.
You're right. I should go to the Steelworkers Hall to let a man named Bluefort punch me in the face.
Right.
Much better idea.
But the cops don't like what you do. They're fine with what I do. I think fuck cops. I don't care what they think.
And that's the thing. It's not a very difficult decision, especially if you don't see a lot of the, if you come up in an area where you don't see a lot of positive, you don't see a lot of people are like, oh, that's Mr. So-and-so and he owns his own business, or that's Mrs. So-and-so or Ms. this and that, and they own this, and, they started out, he used to live next door to so-and-so, but now they did, you don't see a lot of that because it's hard to move up in that area. People leave, and that's how they become successful. So
you don't see a guy with a bodega that's driving a Z with 80 grand in the glove box.
That's what I mean. So it's hard to say, work hard and do this when it's well, he doesn't work hard and he has more than you make in 5 years.
He's fat as shit. He
That's
doesn't
what I
do
mean.
anything.
Minimum wage is $3 an hour back then or some shit, $3.50 an hour. $3, some.
I'll bet it was way lower.
Probably lower. It's that's what people are making. He's got 80 grand in cash. That's literally
that's awesome.
You could live on that for 10 years in this neighborhood. Yeah. So it's fucking crazy. So he still keeps going to the gym though, because boxing also is very lucrative. That's the other thing. If you can make it legit and you have a chance at it, why not try it? So April 8th, 1983, at the Steelworkers Hall, he fights Bluefort Spencer again for some reason. The hell does Bluefort want with more?
You didn't kill him?
Yeah, this goes to the 7th this time. Okay. Bluefort figured something out, but it's still a TKO. So he's 10-0 now, which is
impressive.
It's a milestone anyway in the boxing game. May 5th, 1983, he's at the Civic Center in Baltimore, fights Larry Lane, who needs a nickname.
Yeah.
Right?
That's not good.
No, what can his nickname? Larry the.
We had Jeff Green too, or John Green. It doesn't matter.
Something boring.
The fucking the construction worker names are garbage. These are throwaways. Larry Lane.
It's gotta have
Larry Lois Lane.
It's got to be alliterative. Yeah, Larry Lois. That'll strike fear in the hearts of the other fighters. Fighting Lois Lane tonight. I think it should be. It's going to be a tough one. To go all 12 with Lois tonight.
There's got to be something Lane that sounds better than just Larry.
I don't know, man. So Larry the Ligature Lane. He's going to fucking strangle you.
Yeah.
So anyway, 12-5-1 is his career record. This goes the distance. I think it's 8 rounds here for a unanimous decision win for Mr. Gross here for Reggie. It's 11-0. June 27th, 83. Next month, Convention Center in Ocean City, Maryland. Okay. He fights Abdul Hakim, who's a 6-6 career fighter, and this is a knockout in 5 rounds for Reggie. So 12-0 for him. He's going to fight a couple more here. August 18th, 1983, Civic Center in Baltimore. He fights Franklin Otts. O-T-T-S.
Oh.
Otts.
All right.
Not enough vowels in there or something.
Not the Utz family, huh?
Not the Utz. The Otts. Different.
Yeah.
He's a 25-14-1 total career record here. He won his last 5 before this fight, so he comes in on a big streak, and Reggie knocks him out in the first round.
Reggie's good at this.
He's good at this, and he's good at this when he, if it's a lackluster fighter he's fighting, he comes in lazy. If he's fighting somebody that he knows can fight, that won their last 5 fights, he knocks him out in the first round.
He's prepared.
It's weird. Yeah, where Bluefort Spencer, it takes him 7 rounds because he comes in, I already beat Bluefort. Right. Fuck do I care about him?
Also, Bluefort came with a flat top guitar and was swinging it at me.
You know how that goes. It's difficult.
It's a little more challenging.
It's a different kind of fight.
Right.
It's a different fight.
Sad, hound dogs attacking me. It was weird.
It's not going to work here, Bluefort. So knockout in the first round with Ott. So 13-0. Not too shabby. 13-0. February 27th, 1984. He is at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City. Now we're casino fighting.
Right.
Yeah, it's in Atlantic City, but it's still better than the Steelworkers Hall.
It is.
He fights Marcus Jackson, another man who needs a nickname.
Yeah.
Come on, Marcus.
Isn't that 50 Cent's name? No, it's Curtis Jackson.
Curtis, yeah. Marcus Jackson needs a nickname.
Yeah.
He's 11-7 in his career, so more wins than losses. You've earned a nickname.
Right.
This buddy gets knocked out in the 3rd round here against Reggie. So Reggie's 14-0, and that is definitely Grace.
Hard Grace?
Hard Grace. I'm talking the next month.
We're falling from it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, man, is this hard. And this is from someone who's already done 5 years.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
We usually don't get 5 years in prison out of your first 23 years or 22 years and not even call Grace yet. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You figure he did more than, by the time he was 20, that he'd already done a quarter of his life in jail.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think
disheartening.
about. Yeah, that's very disheartening. Man. That's disturbing to think about. A quarter
of America.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
We got to fix that.
That's something wrong there, I think. Yeah. So
for purse snatching.
That's
the other part. You know, like it's a minimal crime.
Nobody was hurt.
Of children.
I know there was no assault.
If it's an adult and they're purse snatching, put them away forever. I can give a fuck.
Oh, I told you in the fryer.
Right. Fuck them.
Remember that was.
But a 13-year-old, you expect them to be stealing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's still a bitch fucking crime.
I know a lot of 13-year-olds did a lot worse than that, and they didn't go to jail for 5 fucking years.
I knew a 13-year-old stole a fucking an SUV out of somebody's front yard.
Yeah.
Like in their driveway. While they were asleep at like 2 a.m.
Is it horrible?
Falling over to pick us up. I'm like, what?
What is this?
Why are you in the car?
Why is this happening?
Whose is that?
Is this The Wire? So, and this is of no fault of his own here that happens, actually. So sometimes you fall from grace of your own accord, and sometimes things help push you over the grace mark. So this particular day in the spring of 1984, Reggie gets an emergency phone call telling him that his mother's house is currently on fire.
Right now.
Yeah. It's on fire.
Did you call the police yet or the fire department? I hope you have.
I think, So
I better not be call number one, motherfucker.
I don't have a hose. So call people with hoses first, and then I'll get over there once the hoses are out. So he rushed over there to the scene, and by the time he arrived, family, like everybody in the house is being loaded into ambulances because they were burned in the fire. It's terrible. Like, it's not everybody got out and they're fine and the house is just fucked up. Like, people are hurt.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to the ambulances, and it gets worse. Quote, "My sister was 8 months pregnant, but both her and the baby survived. My mother broke both her legs jumping out of the window. My boy, who's 4 years old, his son was in the house, got burned worst of all. He was a strong little kid, and I thought he'd pull through, but one day his heart just gave out. His kid died
in
this
story.
fire. Yeah, his kid was in the hospital for a while, and his son died in the fire.
I got to be honest with you.
That's fucking brutal.
He's the worst storyteller of all time.
That's not He just
he gives you a little bit of hope.
Yeah. He buried the lead. He was like, shouldn't have been like, the day my son died is the worst day of my life. Here's what happened.
Right.
He made it sound like, they're all right, and they pulled through. My son, man, he's tough.
He got burned the worst. He's a tough little guy. And then one day his heart stopped.
He didn't even say that. He said his heart just gave out.
Right.
You leaves you going, he died?
And then they revived him, right?
So you leave him going, is he alive or not? Like,
God
he doesn't
damn
even.
It.
Yeah,
it's a terrible story.
It's a horrible story anyway. But then he tells it badly also,
and then alliterated worse.
And then, but I guess at some point maybe that's painful, so he avoids that's a way that he can say it and not
navigate emotions.
Yeah, I could see that. He has words that he doesn't want to really say. Yeah. So he said, I always pictured me and my boy doing TV commercials like Sugar Ray Leonard did with his dad.
It's exactly what it is, James.
Yeah.
He had hopes, dreams, and aspirations that were dashed, and he doesn't know how to verbalize.
He doesn't know how to do it.
He can't say it.
He said, after he died, it just wasn't the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and it wouldn't be the same for anybody.
No.
You lose your 4-year-old in a fucking fire.
Everybody has sympathy.
Oh, God. That's no way that you could have a good mindset or a normal mindset or anything else. That's fucking horrible. And then making it worse is that he fights the next month.
Stop it.
Yeah, he fights.
Didn't even give himself a chance to grieve.
No, his son just died. He goes right back in the gym and he tries to fight through it, and he needs money.
Yeah.
And now he's got to pay for a funeral. He's got all this shit to pay for. He's got his mother's house burned down.
Yeah.
He literally said, I needed fucking money. So,
and in his defense, that may be fuel to fight.
And that's the other thing. Maybe that keeps his mind off, because if you're training for boxing, your mind is on what's in front of you, because if it isn't, you can't do it. You have to focus on it that much. So, especially if you're sparring, a man's hitting you in the face. It'll wake you the fuck up. So he fights April 11th. This happened in March, Jimmy. He fights less than a month after. So, I mean, his son hung on for a bit in the hospital, too. This could be 2 weeks.
Hours. This could be
a week after his son died. We don't know. This is
boy.
insane. He fights at the poor guy. He fights at the National Guard Armory in Pikesville, Maryland, versus Anthony Witherspoon, who has a 19-7 career record. This fight goes into the 7th, and the fight is stopped, and with a TKO loss for Reggie.
Oh, no.
He loses. He couldn't have been focused. I don't know how the fuck he would have won this fight. Unless he went in rageful and took the guy's head off in the first round.
I think that's what he was counting on.
Other than that, I don't know how else you can. Even in boxing, if you got a decent fighter, you're not going to do that. They'll avoid you, and then you're out of gas, and he's going to light you up. So it's tough. I don't know how you'd be focused and do this. So I don't blame him for this loss at all. 14-1. It's his first loss too, which is a tough one. But I don't think anybody really. Yeah. Everybody kind of was like, it's okay. Right. Shit. May 23rd, 84, next month, keeps fighting. I mean, he's just got to keep going. He has 3 other kids to feed, too. So he's got to do this. No, not at this point. Maybe 2 more at this point. This is at the National Guard Armory again. He fights Jack Johnson, the most generic people ever.
We've covered him before, too.
No. The fighter, this one?
Had to have.
Maybe
not this particular one. I don't know. Yeah. It's Jack Johnson.
That's what I mean.
There could be 30 of those.
Yeah, well, there is. So there's an old timer. So 14, 18, and 1 for Jack here. Okay. This goes the distance, this fight, and Reggie loses it by unanimous decision.
Okay, he needs to take a break.
He needs a break, bad. And he does take a break for a few months here. I think finally Max said, you need to get your head together, motherfucker. Like, you are, rightfully so, your head's not right. Your kid's dead. Calm down. Your family's burned. Your kid's dead. Your mother's got broken legs.
Right.
Like, you got a lot going on, bro. This is a fucking shitload. So he's 14-2. He takes off from May to September. So he takes the whole summer off. June, July, August. So maybe that's good. Spend some time, healing emotionally. I don't know.
To France for 3 months.
Oh, well, yeah. He's got to. Well, that's what he does, obviously. Down to St. Bart's, though, for the first month. Come on. He's not a fucking animal,
Go
Jimmy.
Get those
Jesus.
desserts.
Yeah. He's not a barbarian. He goes down to the islands first and then heads over to Europe.
Absolutely.
Jesus. So September 6th, 84, Civic Center in Baltimore. He fights James Reed. He has the most opponents in need of nicknames I've ever seen in my life. He was a 4-7 fighter career. So they're like, here's a guy you can beat up. Go beat him up. And he does. This is a unanimous decision, but it's a win. So it goes longer than it should, but at least he wins the fight. So they're like, okay, good for you. Back on track. 15-2 for Reggie. Now, September 20th, 1984, he's at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City again, and he fights a guy with 2 nicknames. Okay.
Got to make up for all these other guys.
Well, he's like, give somebody one of these nicknames. He's fighting the boogeyman, Jesse Thunder Ferguson.
No.
You can't pick one, dude.
Jesus.
Are you the boogeyman or are you Thunder? Which one are you? You can't be the boogeyman, Jesse Thunder Ferguson. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why a doctor can't be president, because you can't be Dr. President. It's just a stupid title that no one is going to say. It's stupid. Every time a doctor runs for president, I go, he's not going to win. No. He will not. I don't care if it's the greatest person in the world. He or she will not win because no one is calling them Dr. President. And you know they're not giving up that fucking doctor for shit. They're going to be Dr. President so-and-so.
The vast majority have been JDs, though, but we don't say Juris Doctorate, whoever the fuck.
No, that's what I mean. It's not yeah, exactly. They're that, but doctor?
Doctor, we say that.
Yeah.
A lot.
A medical doctor or something, especially a medical doctor. They're never going to stop saying that.
Right.
Yeah. Who the fucking Ben Carson ran in 2016, and they introduced him, I went, nope, you're not going to win. People were like, yeah, he's all flawed. I don't care what the fuck he's saying.
Doesn't matter.
This Dr. President doesn't work. And people went, oh yeah, that's kind of a... It's one of those you don't think about it. You think that would be an advantage.
Right.
I'm a doctor.
Right.
Nope, not at all.
Wouldn't even matter if your PhD's in literature.
Don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Can't be Dr. President. No one's calling you that. Or President Doctor. That's even stupider. It's dumb. Not going to work. So we elect no one who's been to medical school. So the boogeyman Thunder Ferguson here is 26-18 in his career. He was a big up-and-comer, and then he kind of fell off. He started out hot like Reggie did, and then kind of went off when he started fighting quality opponents. That happens to a lot of guys. See a lot of guys start off 10-0 and then end up, 19-12 for their career. They started fighting good fighters. So this fight only goes 3 rounds. It stopped with a TKO loss for Reggie again.
God damn it.
So it's not going well for him now. He got boogied and thundered in the same fucking bout here.
Yeah.
Bad stuff. March 8th, 1995. So he takes off from September to March. Don't know what he's doing. Have an idea, as we'll find out in a minute, but he's not training.
No.
I guess he is. For this fight, he is, because he fights this fight March 8th, 1985, at the Catholic Youth Center in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Oh, boy.
That's where they used to have, like, the WWE at the time, WWF like C wrestling shows.
Of course.
I remember them advertised on.
Just because it held enough people.
2,000. If it could hold like 1,500, they'd put the C show there with like a couple of crappy guys.
That's embarrassing.
And it was, we'll be at the Catholic Youth Center in Stratton, Pennsylvania. Here he fights Jimmy the Lark Clark.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, at least he's got a nickname. At least he's not Jimmy Clark. We'd be saying he needs a nickname.
What a tiny bird.
Jimmy the Lark Clark.
Oh, boy.
He for his entire career, he's 18-1. And he comes into this fight 14-0.
Oh.
The Lark. This is his one loss.
Really?
So, yeah, see what I mean?
The only loss is to Reggie.
That's it. Reggie's a good fight. When it's someone he needs to be up for, he's up for him. It's weird.
That's incredible.
This is a TKO win in round 9, too. So to knock somebody out in the 9th round shows you really stick to it and you didn't fall off or get tired, and that's impressive.
Stayed regimented.
Yeah, because he hasn't fought a lot of long fights, so to be able to not just hang on somebody for the last couple rounds is very impressive. This brings him to 16-3, still contending. He's still okay, and the whole boxing world knows kind of around what happened around his losses.
Okay.
So they look at his record
give him
and
a pass.
they look at him as kind of 16-1. He lost to the one guy that was legit, and the other two are right after his kid died. So
kind of got to brush those out.
Yeah, they're all like he was going through some shit, and they were like, wow, it's amazing that he fought. He fought because he was already signed to fight, so it was he wasn't going to give the money away. So June 28th, 1985. This is at the Rocky Glen Bowl in Scranton.
Gross.
That sounds bad.
Yeah,
smells like stale beer there.
Yeah.
Which Scranton kind of...
It's named after Rocky Glen, whoever the fuck that is.
Rocky Glen Bowl.
Anything that's...
I think it's named after a Rocky Glen, like a Glen that's rocky.
Oh, got it.
I think that's what it is.
Even dumber.
Because there's mountains in Pennsylvania.
But the Bowl.
The Bowl.
That's never a nice place.
The Hollywood Bowl?
Is that a nice place?
I don't know. It's
but I mean,
legendary. I don't know if it's nice.
Is it an arena? What is that?
It's an amphitheater.
It's an outdoor thing.
Amphitheater,
Yeah, I hate those.
I don't want to sit outside.
There's nothing nice, but it's always a concrete block. You've got to sit your fat ass on.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's always uncomfortable
it's for
and
sound,
miserable. Yeah,
it's a sound
I get it.
thing.
It's an experience.
It's one of those, this is what they did in the 1400s.
Right.
Great. Before they had air conditioning and we're sitting in the fucking side. If they had air conditioning.
And amplifiers and fucking ways to make the sound so much better.
Yeah,
Why are we sitting in the fucking concrete and sun?
You don't have to use gravity and physics to use for the sound to go through. We just blast it right in your fucking ear holes. That's it.
Phil Spector invented this shit.
It's beautiful. Yeah, that's right.
Wall of sound and shit.
That too. So he fights Hector the Mountain Rodriguez.
Okay.
So I picture a fat man.
Yeah.
I think Hector the Mountain has a 1-4 career record. That's his whole career, and this is his last fight.
Ooh.
I think so. Reggie convinces him to retire by knocking him out in the 3rd round,
making him a hill.
He's like, I think I'll retire now. Yeah, my mountain days are over. So 17-3 for Reggie. So it's the summer of 1985. What do people do in the summer?
Of 85?
Anytime.
Yeah.
Summertime. The living is easy.
Yeah,
that's
it is,
right.
usually.
Gershwin said anyway. Yeah, summertime. Living is easy. Unless you're in West Baltimore and you're fucked up and mixed up and bullshit in the streets because he gets shot on
Reggie got shot.
Summer of 85. He gets shot in the arm. Shot in the arm. So he takes a bullet in the arm. They thought it might end his career because it's in the arm, and if it fucks up any of the muscles or nerves or anything, it'll end your career. But miraculously, he recovers fine. Miraculously, he recovers fine, and by January 86, he's fucking fighting again.
Did they say why?
Oh, we'll find out.
Was it a drive-by? Was it...
no, it's intentional.
He was cleaning it and it went off?
Oh, he's mixed all up in this shit.
Boy.
Anything that he does or other people do is not an accident with him at all. Wait till you find out exactly how intentional this motherfucker is.
Jesus.
His other life is way scary. It's fucking way scary. So, but boxing-wise, he's making his way up the ranks. So January 31st, 1986, he's at the Trump Casino in Atlantic City.
Okay.
He is fighting Smokin' Burt Cooper.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Burt Cooper before because he's a He was a contender. He was 10-0 coming into this fight. His whole career, he ends up 38-25.
Wow.
But he's fought everybody. He fought Holyfield. He fought George Foreman. He fought Riddick Bowe. He fought Michael Moore. He fought Ray Mercer, Chris Bird, Corey Sanders. He's fought all of these like heavyweight champions.
Lost to all of them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always, he always goes the distance and shit like that. Like he's a very capable fighter.
Yeah.
He's really tough.
He's a step towards the title.
Yeah, he's not here. He's an up and comer. He's 10-0, and Reggie's that guy who's going to test the new guy. Basically, they're like, well, let's see if he can beat a guy like Reggie Gross. They throw him in there.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them, or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
This fight goes into the 8th round, and Reggie stops him with a TKO.
Really?
And wins the fight, handing him his first loss.
Right.
Yeah, which is really impressive. And everybody was like, oh, shit, now we're talking. So much so, he's 18-3, that they start talking about maybe you could fight him with that new Tyson kid that's coming up right now.
Really?
They start talking about it, yeah. Tyson's managers and Mac Lewis agree to a date. It's going to be after Christmas '85, somewhere around there. So he's like, he was psyched. He was like, I'm going to fight Mike fucking Tyson now, because he was like, that's all anybody in boxing was talking about, even though he was still a kid and wasn't even champ yet.
Right.
He was the future of boxing.
It was a big story for a long time.
Yeah. He said he ran up and down the hills of Druid Hill Park, basically, running all around with Vincent Petway, who's the future world junior middleweight champion. Okay. He's a guy who's also a Mac Lewis trainee, and who he'll hang out with, and will end up Petway will end up testifying for him in court one day.
Oh, that's nice.
As a matter of fact. And also another boxer who was another Mac Lewis protege named Warren Bordley. Warren Bordley, we'll talk about more plenty, because Warren Bordley turns out to not have a boxing career, but a very lucrative career in another profession that's much less legal than boxing. So Gross says, quote, I was in shape. I've never been in shape like that before. I scared myself. He was in such good shape.
He's just so impressive.
Yeah. But what ends up happening is the Tyson fight gets postponed. He fights somebody else, and they push it back to later on in the year. And that was his big payday. He was going to make I think $30,000 or something. So that's a big payday for him, because he hasn't had anything like that before. So he said, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? I don't know what to do. He fights Burt Cooper, but he makes much less money than the Tyson fight. He said, quote, I needed money, so I went out on the corner. Oh, no. So here he goes. He's got to fight first here. March 4th, 1986. Like I said, he's been out. He's not training as much. He's on the corner a lot and shit like that. He says here he fights is at Resorts International, Atlantic City. He fights Henry Tillman. This is going to be probably the worst fight of his career. Now, Tillman is a 25-6 fighter career, but he's a bad. He beat Tyson twice as an amateur.
Really?
So yeah, and he's 8-0 coming in.
Tillman did.
Yeah, so they're looking at Tillman as he hasn't lost as a pro, and he beat Tyson twice as an amateur. This guy's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, you got to really take this guy seriously. But over the course of an entire fight, a gone the distance fight, he threw less than 20 punches. Or less than 30 punches, I'm sorry.
Over an entire fight?
Yeah.
Tillman did?
No.
Oh.
Reggie.
Oh, that's not good.
He threw no punches. He threw like 33 punches or something.
Trying to be strategic, or
no,
what was that
just
fucking plan?
Not doing it. Just didn't do it. And he was 84 Olympic champ, was Henry Tillman. Like, you got to take this guy seriously. Petway, there, the other boxer from ringside, he was watching. He didn't understand what was going on. Petway says that finally in the 9th round, he screamed, quote, "Reggie, if you don't punch him, I'm going to punch you. What the fuck are you doing?" He just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't fight.
You're about to be fighting two guys in a second.
Yeah, I'm about to come in and punch you in the back of the fucking head. He said, he said, quote, he just stood there. He didn't understand it. Like, well, he was just standing there. He wasn't doing anything. He said he can punch and just didn't understand why he's doing it. He says that in his mind, though, and this was the strategy, because the Tyson fight was still coming up, possibly. So he says afterwards, quote, "They think I'll be easy now." So he thinks by throwing no punches, that will get Tyson in the ring faster.
That seems counterintuitive.
He'll be easier to fight. Now they'll want to fight him because before he says they might have delayed it because they thought maybe he was a little too good of a contender for right now. So he thinks that if he shows himself to be weak, then they'll want to kick they'll be an easy win. Then they'll want to fight him. He's a fighter with a good record that they can beat easily, and it'll help Tyson. He says, quote, "They've got the film of the Tillman fight, and now they know." Okay.
Yeah.
It's a unanimous decision lost, by the way. He didn't throw any fucking punches.
Not good.
He probably lost every round on every judge's card. So he's 18-4. And Mac Lewis says it like this. He says, quote, "Reggie likes the women." And this will come up a lot. "After a fight, sure, do anything, celebrate. But Reggie is liable to celebrate before a fight." That's not good.
He's just fucking all the time?
Yeah, he's just doing whatever he wants. He says, quote, "There are gyms like this all over the country. There are people working to make a dream come true. You've got to really want it." That's what his answer was when they asked him about what happened to Reggie in that fight. He's like, you know what? There's a lot of people that love to be where he is, and they're going to be because he doesn't fucking want it. If he doesn't want it, fuck him.
Okay.
Which I think is, he cares more about fucking around and hanging out with women and all this type of shit. So Reggie, though, he says, quote, "That was a setup so I could get the Tyson fight." That's what he says. He says, "I didn't throw it, but I just didn't try."
Right.
So
Mac and Reggie are both playing some like negative chess at the moment.
Yeah.
Though, you know what I mean?
Well, it works for him though, because guess what? Next fight is Tyson.
Really?
He signed to fight Tyson next. He got it. Might have worked. That lackluster performance might have been just what they were looking for. So he's doing it. He says that they talked to him about it. And he says, quote, "Mike Tyson is like a bull. He comes right at you. I eat bulls for dinner."
Okay.
So he's ready to do it.
Here's the thing about that. Mike Tyson eats everything.
Everything.
For dinner.
No, he's brutal. He says, "Anyone comes at me, I knock him out. I don't care who he is. Michael Spinks, Larry Holmes, Looney Cooney." Talking about Jerry Cooney.
Yeah.
So he's hitting the bag. He says, "Tyson fights like an amateur. He charges, he lunges. A man fights like that, and I knock him out. OUT. OUTT.
Okay.
OUTT. It's still out.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it worse.
Here's the thing about Tyson, though. He'll knock you out with a gut shot.
I've seen him knock people over with punches in the arm.
Right.
It's dangerous. He says, "I knock him out with either hand. I knock him out with a jab." And so, Mac Lewis is there, and he's kind of laughing while Reggie's doing, because Reggie's just talking shit while he's training at the time.
Okay.
So he's doing like we described what Ted Williams would do during batting practice. "I'm Ted fucking Williams. I'm the greatest fucking, give me that bullshit, you cocksucking son of a bitch." He's doing that sort of shit.
Okay.
Pump yourself up. Gross says, quote, or Lewis says, "He's already won the fight, hasn't he?" And he says, quote, "I wish he would fight like he talks." That's one of the best lines from a boxing trainer we've ever had on this show. Gee, I just wish he would fight like he talks.
Right.
That is wonderful shit, man. So Mac Lewis goes on to say, "They think they can beat Reggie, but they've got to pay to find out." He's talking about the payday. I'm not saying Reggie can't win, but a good showing is important. With a good showing, he can still make some money. Max, just go out, don't embarrass yourself, and you'll get some good high money fights. You'll get on HBO and shit, and you get some money. But Reggie says, quote, I'm going to win, and then I'll be making mega bucks.
He's really okay.
He's serious.
He believes in himself.
Yep. He says he's working out. He says, quote, working out is hard. Whenever somebody says I got to go to the gym, I get automatic sleepy. But I know I've got to do it. Got to get up at 5 a.m. and got to do my road work, come to the gym, got to be ready. Nobody thinks I can win. Everybody thinks he's going to knock me out. A guy on the street asked me, who you fighting? I said, Tyson. He said, oh, man, Tyson, I don't know. He said, nobody gives me a chance. That's what's so great. My mother's friends are betting on Tyson. They're betting the rent money. They're betting the shoe money. They're betting the groceries. I'll bet you this cabbage.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm going to buy some cheese, and when I win, I'm going to feed them the cheese because they're not going to have anything else left.
Because
they bet everything on Tyson.
I'm going to win and they're going to lose.
And then I'm going to go around like some sort of Johnny Apple cheese spreading throughout the neighborhood. I don't know what's going on. What is happening? Okay.
Dave Chappelle said he wanted to buy a bunch of bubble gum and hand it to the homeless of Detroit when he got booed. Oh. So they could have something in their mouth to chew on, but not get hungry or not get full.
But not get full. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Thing. Same shit. Oh, my God. So he said...
Johnny Apple Cheese.
That's what, yes, Johnny Apple Cheese is distributing. He says that, everybody's there. He says, quote, I ain't afraid of Tyson. I'm betting on me.
Okay.
He is ready to roll.
That's balls.
That's balls. Now, for his fight with Tyson, he is reportedly paid $40,000, which is the most he's ever made for a fight. He's very excited. It's half of what that guy had for cocaine 4 years ago, though, still. So think about that.
And he didn't have to get punched by Mike Tyson.
That's what I mean. Right. He didn't have to fight the scariest human being on earth. So, yeah. But Lewis described him as a talker. He was saying, sure, Reggie talks too much, but that's Reggie. He's just an outgoing guy. So now he's got to get in the ring. June 13th, 1986, this is. And when you see this is Tyson. He's young, and he's nasty.
He's not fucking around.
He's one of, when you hit him, he doesn't even flinch. He just comes, walks right through your punches, and fucking
very systematic.
Rips you. Yeah, and he's got that explosive punch, and he could knock you out with any punch, any hand.
Right.
As we'll talk about in this.
That left hop and then the fucking right arm.
Yeah, just that. He's going around up and down, and then he can just explode. His legs, he uses all his power. Man, he was nasty. So for the occasion, Reggie buys a $500 silk suit and a pair of alligator skin shoes to wear to the fight, because this is the real deal. This is in Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
This is like...
So he spent $2,000 on clothes.
To arrive. Yeah, because he's got to arrive, and he's going to be interviewed by people. There's going to be pictures taken. It's, people do that when they fight the champ. It's what it is. He says, though, he tells the press, quote, I was born for the spotlight. That's why my teeth are sparkling white. With my body, 6'3", 220 pounds, and good looks, I was made for this TV.
He wants to fuck him.
I was made. No. He wants people to want to fuck him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he wants
Reggie
to fuck
wants
himself.
to fuck Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie wants. I was born for this. I'm pretty. It sounds like a wrestling promo, though. That sounds exactly. I was made for this TV. That's hilarious.
Look at this body.
6'3", 220 pounds. You're starting to go off in like a superstar Billy Graham promo. You know what I mean?
It's a shame I can't fuck me.
Yeah, it's a shame I can't fuck me. Oh, man. So this is Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. This was huge at the time, if you're too young to know about this. Like Mike Tyson, mid-'80s, 21-0 he comes in, Tyson. He was the most famous person in sports at this time. Right. More famous than Michael Jordan, even than Larry Bird, and I think Magic Johnson at the time, I would say, even all those guys.
Big fucking deal.
He's as big a sports celebrity as there is in the country at this time, and he is, 19 years old. And he looks it, and he comes in. Now, this fight, people have different strategies against Tyson back in the day. There's a couple different strategies. Number one, you have the stay away from him, keep him away with your jab boxing strategy. Your Larry Holmes would do this.
It's about the best you can do.
That's wonderful if you're an amazingly perfect technical boxer.
And big.
Perfect. Oh, you have to be big enough to keep him away from you with the jab. If you're Larry Holmes and you're 6'5",
and you got 6-inch reach on him,
and Larry Holmes is one of the best jabs in the history of boxing, so and Tyson still beat his ass, but that was the perfect kind of guy to fight Tyson. Keep him away with the jab, but if Tyson gets inside on you, he's going to kill you if your arms are that long. So that's the problem. So anyway, there's that fight of keep him technical away. He's short, keep him down there. Don't let him come in on you, whatever. And then there's the strategy of he's going to bum rush me, so I'm going to bum rush him.
Match him,
and we'll just go toe-to-toe, and he's going to be throwing punches. I'm going to be throwing punches. I got a good enough punch. Right. Maybe if I land mine, I'll get lucky and knock him out. You see that strategy very often.
How'd that work for that Boston kid?
I was going to say, watch Peter McNeely. You got to give him credit because he stood right fucking there and tried. I gave him credit. Reggie has the idea to go right at him, but he also has the thing. Remember we were talking about the hand hole in the bathroom on a plane?
Gross.
That's got the tissues in it. So if you have to throw something in there, you like push it but pull your hand back like pa-pang, like you try to beat the metal snapping back.
Most disgusting part of an airplane.
You have no idea what's in there. You can't even see it in there.
The backside of that is a minefield.
We've discussed the myriad bodily functions and fluids that could be on the other side. So you like
tampons.
You throw up, retract your hand real quick. That's how he fights Tyson. Like Tyson's the hand hole in the bathroom on the plane. He comes in, punches him, but he is already jumping back as he's punching.
Oh, there's no power in that punch.
He's not putting his fucking hips into it at all. He's punching, but you're supposed to stick and move, but he's moving before he's sticking.
Oh, that paper towel is going to be on the floor of that toilet.
It's going to be
every
bad.
time.
Every time. So you could see him come in there like, I'm not afraid of you, but then he's like, oh shit, he's going to hit me. So I'm going to hit him, but I want to get the fuck back. So his blows are glancing.
It's the exact same way I approach it. I'm not afraid of you. I'm deathly afraid of the hand hole.
Yeah, I don't want to be. It's exactly the hand hole. He approaches Tyson like the hand hole, and he circles. He'll hit him and just circle, and Tyson just stalking like a fucking animal, pop, and Tyson's like, I will eat you for breakfast, stalking him around the ring. And he does a good job at one point. Tyson, they get in the middle of the ring, and Tyson's kind of weaving back and forth, ducking, and Reggie is hitting him with every shot. As Tyson's weaving, Reggie's got him pop. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, Tyson's moving his head, and he's fucking clocking him with every time. Really just nailing Tyson. You're like, holy shit, he's getting him. Not hurting him, it doesn't look like, but he's sticking him pretty good, and then out of nowhere, Tyson springs up with a left hook, and Reggie is on the ground so fast, you can't even fucking fathom it.
It's over?
No. Okay. He gets back up, but I mean, it's just a spring left hook, and Reggie's just boom on his fucking back. I mean, Tyson hits him once cleanly.
After he's getting blasted.
On the fucking floor, this guy is. He gets up, standing 8 count, and, looks all serious.
Yep.
Gets in there, tries to go back at him, and Tyson hits him with like 2 more lefts. Never hit him with a right clean.
Really?
Put it that way. Hits him with 2 more lefts and knocks him into the ropes.
Yep.
He falls sideways into the ropes and bounces into the ring, and it is not good. He is fucking out. So that is that. 2 knockdown. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
2 of them pop in the head with these big hooks and just fucking, I mean, they're vicious. You'd see these, they would kill a person if it wasn't a professional boxer, these punches. So it's 2 minutes and 36 seconds he lasts in the first round, which isn't bad back then for Tyson.
Good.
It's not too shabby. So, and Reggie says about this later on, 15 years later, he says, I say to myself, oh my God, I hit him. When he started popping him good, he goes, I hit that man on the chin. That's what he said. I say, suppose I hit him one more time with this right hand, I'm going to knock his block off. And that's when Tyson came up with the left hook and knocked him down.
Yeah.
He said he didn't even know what the fuck was going on. And then he said, quote, I say to myself, oh my God, I'm on HBO. Let me get up, please. He said he came to on the ground and went, where the fuck am I? Oh shit, I'm on HBO. Get up. I hope that the fight's not over already.
Right.
Like he didn't even know where the fuck he was.
Is that me on the Jumbotron? Look, hey, Mom.
Shit, yeah. Crazy. So,
wow.
Yeah, he's one of those early, Tyson victims. If you watch his greatest knockouts, this is in it because the shot into the ropes looks really cool.
Is the shot into the ropes on the north side of the ring? Do you know what I mean? Like
I don't know
from the shot of from the TV.
Be, if you're looking at the TV and the far side of the ring would be north, we're at south.
Right.
It's at the east side of the ring.
It's
he falls in sideways over there.
Okay.
Oh, he knocks people through ropes a lot.
Yeah,
he
because
falls into them.
The guy that I'm thinking about that looks like Gip is on the north side of the ring. He gets blasted into the ropes and then blasted back into the ring.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a different fight.
Yeah, this guy is just on the ground after that.
Terrible.
So that summer, he makes himself $40,000, and so that summer, you would think he'd be sitting at least. He just fought Tyson at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Bills are paid, and he's a name fighter now. People know who he is.
Yeah.
So he would be really concentrating on boxing, but instead, that summer, the summer of 1986 in Baltimore, was a particularly crazy summer for street crime. There was a rival drug gang war that summer between two factions, and it's a very famous thing in Baltimore, this 86, because there was just bodies dropping everywhere. Okay. They mentioned the War of 86 in the homicide book. Like it was, they were running all over the city finding people everywhere, people who were drug dealers and shit like that. So he says over the course of this summer, Reggie said he committed numerous street robberies all over Baltimore in an effort to get money for drugs. Yes.
He's on drugs now.
Yeah, he's on heroin now.
Oh, no.
He's on heroin now, and he's also going out doing shit, getting money, stealing it, selling it, doing it. He's a fucking disaster.
He's deep.
Very deep. And his boxing buddy, remember Bordley that we talked about? He is now basically Avon Barksdale, which is why on The Wire, Avon Barksdale was an amateur boxer that fought Gold Gloves. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how they found him, was the poster. That's Bordley.
So it's for real.
This is Avon Barksdale, the real Avon Barksdale.
Jesus.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. They do the whole thing, and they end up with basically declaring war on the Downers, which were a couple of brothers, Alan Downer and what the hell's the other one's name? Spencer and Alan Downer, which were rival kingpins. This is them taking out. They are trying to overtake the Downers to take over the drug trade in West Baltimore, basically.
The Wire just combined them as two people into one person of Prop Joe.
Yeah, kind of.
He's one big fat
Well, he's three people.
Yeah.
The Downers is two brothers. They just smushed him in.
Right.
But not even Prop Joe. He's like whoever the hell was, because Prop Joe's East Side. He's like a different league, basically. So they don't fuck with him. So basically, it's
this would be like two people in the same.
This would be who they got the towers from.
Got it.
They all sell in the towers. Whoever the fuck was there before them, this is how they got it, basically. Okay. So this takes place over the summer months, and it's the Bordley's gang here turns into basically what the federal prosecutors will later call one of the most profitable and violent drug gangs in Baltimore history. And like the Barksdales, same thing. I mean, it's exactly like that. He gets deep into this shit. Reggie does. Bordley is earning at the time for himself over $50,000 a week.
Good Lord.
In the 1986.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
It's fucked up that the reason he's getting it, but that's impressive.
That's when people see that, they go, oh.
Why am school?
Well, I mean, they see that, or if they see, I don't know, if their dad's some kind of fucking stock swindler or something. I don't know what the difference is there.
There's not much.
Besides the street shootings.
Still victims.
But they're still, you're putting people out of their homes if you're that kind of person. And this, I don't know, it's, at least you have to do something to put yourself in this situation to be, in a drug war. Yeah. Whereas, if you're just, your 401k gets drained because some assholes played stock fucking, what's it called? The 3-card Monte with the swaps, then what the fuck, The shell game with swaps.
Heroin's a crazy game too, because your customer's never going to revolt. You know what I mean?
No, they're very calm. It's a very calm base.
And, they're not necessarily in fighting shape.
They're very weak. Yeah. You can shove them over like a rotten tree.
Kind of a meek opponent.
Just the whole trunk crumbles. So, and anyway, he's managing to train and fight and do heroin and do all this shit all at the same time.
Oh, no.
Reggie, he's a fucking disaster. So September 25th, 1986, he is arrested.
Yeah.
Reggie is. This is just 3 months after fighting Mike Tyson in a major card here. Basically, police had been searching for him for more than a week when they were looking for him here, on the strength of statements by 2 eyewitnesses who identified Reggie from a lineup. Now, what he is accused of is murder.
Oh, no.
He is accused of murdering Andre J. Coxon, who is 32 years old. Coxon was standing at Fayette and Fremont Street and Fremont Avenue, which if you've read The Wire, if you've read the homicide book, you know a lot about, or if you're from Baltimore, I'm sure. It's about 8:30 p.m. on September 12th. When someone walked up to him as they walked by, just suddenly pulled out a .38 caliber revolver and shot him. This is before he could even react. He didn't even see it coming. Shot him in the upper body. He managed to run a little bit, Coxon did, and fall down on the street and was crawling away. As he's crawling away, the murderer caught up to him, stood over him, and fired 3 more shots into his head.
Jesus.
Execution, cold as a motherfucker. Stood right over him, pumped 3 in his head, calmly walked away.
And somebody saw it and said it was him from the lineup.
Yes. Fell to the ground, all this shit. And a Western District officer who was investigating a report of a stolen car a block away heard the gunshots.
Oh, no.
Got in the car and went to the scene. He found Coxon and called an ambulance. Coxon was dying. He says the homicide detective, quote, said it had all the signs of an execution, especially with the shooter standing over the man, finishing him off with 2 shots to the head.
Like an execution.
An execution. Yeah, a street beef. You take 1 shot, you run away. Right. But this is we're getting him.
And all the signs of an execution.
Yeah.
Based on the execution.
Based on the 4 gunshots, right. 3 to the head. We feel it's of only that person.
Pretty sure that wasn't a lucky shot.
Yeah, he seemed to be shooting at him on purpose, I feel like.
That cop needs a raise.
I'm not speaking out of turn. Detective Mark Tomlin.
Good for you, Tomlin.
Good for you. So,
way to put that training to work.
Really fucking...
Jesus Christ.
Wild. He's making the department proud with that one. Is. That's just good police work, Tomlin. So, Coxon's taken to University Hospital where he is pronounced dead at 9:10 p.m. without ever regaining consciousness. And, they said that at no time was there any conversation witnesses said, between the shooter and Coxon. It was just, guy was walking by, pulled a gun out, shot him, and then made sure to finish him off and walked away. So the thing that's weird about it is 1 block from the last stop where his dad was killed when he was 3 days old. This happened.
Shit, really?
Block away. So yeah, this is where he lives and dies, man. This is the way it is. And this is a drug area too. It's Fremont and Fayette. I even knew that's a drug area. So definitely a drug area. And so the cops are looking for Reggie. They looked several places on the east and west sides. They kept things under surveillance. He has a row house in the section south of Charles Village. They did that. They looked there. One of the cops said, this is Tomlin again, we didn't want to arrest him at his home and perhaps get some innocent people hurt. So we figured the best thing would be to find out where he might be training and wait for him to come out. Probably also they're thinking he might be armed in his home. If he's coming out of the boxing gym, probably not going to be holding the gun on him. He's probably going to have...
And if he does have one, it might be in a duffel bag. It's going to be difficult for him
He's not going to be ready to fire shots because he's going to be feeling pretty confident when he comes out of there that if anyone comes up to him, they better fucking fire because he's going to whoop their goddamn ass.
Right.
So,
or they want an autograph and also he might be fucking tired.
That's the other thing. So it's a good idea, actually. So Tomlin said that Lewis's gym was added to the place to watch. 5 minutes after it was Tomlin and 4 special tactical operations patrol officers arrived at the gym. Within 5 minutes, they saw him leaving and headed for his car. It's an 82 Cutlass, which he's very proud of.
It's very cool.
Very cool. He said, quote, we arrested him as he was about to place something in the trunk of his car, is what Tomlin said. They handcuffed him and all that sort of shit. All the fighters gathered to watch, like, what the fuck's going on out there. He's driven to police headquarters and they charged him with murder. They also, at this point, find there is an open warrant out against him from February. So he was fighting Mike Tyson at Madison Square Garden on television with an open warrant from February. So not from 5 years ago, from a few months before the fight for breaking into a woman's apartment.
Jesus Christ. Why is he doing that?
Why are they not fucking catching him when he's on television?
Yeah, but it's Baltimore in the 80s.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. That's true. That's true.
He'll be back.
He's coming. Don't worry.
Home.
He'll shoot somebody. So, yeah, obviously he's arrested. His car was impounded and searched for incriminating evidence. They said within 2 or 3 days of the murder, police received several pieces of information. They said they never found the gun that was used, because I'm sure he tossed it.
To throw away.
They know, he knows to throw that shit away.
That's why you have revolvers, because the shells don't come out.
That's it, man. Reggie said, quote, I knew one of them, a sergeant, Andre Street. He was waving a gun in my face, shaking like hell and saying, don't move or I'll blow your head off. I wanted to know why they waited almost 2 weeks to arrest me. They'd already searched my car and didn't find anything. They knew where I lived for my driver's license. Why didn't they come for me at my house at 2 a.m.? I'm usually bringing a girl home. He's like, I'd have been home with some broad, man. He could have knocked on the door and come and got me. They said they checked the gym the day before and everywhere else, but they didn't want to. Apparently, they were going to burst in there, but then they saw there's a lot of kids training, so they said we can wait for him to come out. I guess it'd probably be easier. Now, Max says, quote, I've never seen a real mean streak in Reggie. He's just always like a big kid. In the gym, it's always Mr. Mac. It's more like a father-son relationship. I can understand him. I was a street person myself. Reggie's no angel. He's been in a lot of jackpots, but he's no killer. So he'll fight and fuck around in the street, but not a killer. March 1987, he goes to trial. He's charged with first-degree murder and the use of a handgun, and could be sentenced to life plus 20 years. This is serious shit here. Like we said, the murder site only a block away from where his dad was stabbed to death. Jesus Christ. He's only 24, by the way, Reggie.
That's crazy.
He's been through a lot.
That is bananas.
He's had a full life in 24 years. This is a fucking lot.
24 years old, charged for murder, and he's fought Mike Tyson.
He's fought Mike Tyson, been charged for murder, been in jail, in and out. I mean, he's been
shot.
He's been shot. He's had his son's died.
He's got 4 kids.
Yeah, his 4 kids. One of them died in a fire.
Yeah.
Like, he's had a lot of heartache and crap and shit.
My Christ.
Man, he said of the opening sentence, opening statement.
Yep.
That's the word I'm looking for. I'm like, it's an S word that means to talk. Fuck. The opening statement here, he says, quote, Andre Coxon was executed, shot 6 times as he begged for his life, gunned down like a dog in the streets of your city by Reggie Gross.
Yeah.
So they're setting this up as brutal. That's how they set it up. They bring some witnesses, which we'll talk about in a minute. The jury comes back, deliberates for 3 hours on a Friday, recesses for the weekend, and then comes back on Monday and comes out and says they're deadlocked.
Really?
So the judge declares hung jury.
What?
Mistrial, hung jury.
Retry.
And there are 2 eyewitnesses. What? And in the homicide book, they talk about this a lot. The Baltimore City juries will not convict for murder on circumstantial. They don't trust the police at all. They don't trust the cases. If there's a murder, they go, okay, well, where's the fingerprints on his gun then?
Right.
Show me that and I'll convict him, because that's what I've seen on TV.
There's a very handsome black man in the back of the room giving me googly eyes through his gorgeous glasses.
No, not even that.
And I don't want him or his friends to hurt me.
That too. Oh, you're the wire thing. Yeah, the wire. Yeah, it was Stringer Bell back there.
Right.
No, it's true. He is very handsome. But
incredibly handsome.
It's true.
Pulls off an American accent very well.
Not bad at all.
Not
honestly.
bad at
Pretty
all.
Fucking good. The best of all the English people on the show, I think.
Maybe of any show.
He's really fucking good at it.
Really great on that show.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
So, but they said like they have this thing of where even by the 80s, they've seen a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen detective shows.
Right.
If there's no murder weapon, fingerprints, or confession,
it's hard to
they
convict
don't
that.
believe that guy. Well, what is that guy? Who's
Where's
he?
the jizz?
He might have some shit to say, or maybe the cops fucking talked him into it.
Right.
You know, they don't believe a confession either, because they're like, who would confess on purpose? They obviously beat it out of him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where if you, for a lot of good reason, they don't trust the police in this area, because they put 13-year-olds in jail for snatching purses, I think, is the problem. That's not the police, that's the system. But still, they don't trust the system.
Exactly.
At all. So the state says that they will retry this ASAP. Like, he is coming right back at him. And May 1987 is his retrial. And he says that he showed there's the defense attorney said that they're going to show extensive amount of reasonable doubt, and the fight for Reggie's freedom is by no means over. We're going to do this. At the trial, witnesses were there. The witnesses were cousins who were waiting for a bus after visiting friends in the area, and they testified that they saw him shoot Andre Coxon several times with a large caliber handgun after walking by him briefly near the corner of Fayette and Fremont. They said that Coxon staggered. We told you that. He shot him. Apparently, there was subtle inconsistencies in the testimony of the 2 witnesses, and so that was a different thing. that was a tough thing that they were trying to the
jury was trying to decipher.
Well, the defense attorney was really trying to point out these little subtle inconsistencies in their stories and things like that. Vincent Petway was one of the witnesses here. He's a boxer who, obviously, we talked about him. He's his buddy. He said that he was with Reggie at 8:30 p.m. at the gym. So he said, I was training with Reggie at the time of the shooting. So couldn't have been Reggie.
No way.
I was with him. He said that they were jogging in Clifton Park at the time, with nobody seeing them, obviously, because they're jogging in a dark park at night.
Two large guys running around.
That's how it is. So they were never able to establish a motive, which you don't need to establish a motive, but juries like motives.
Yeah.
They like fingerprints, weapons, motives. You add all that in, and then they go, oh, I can see it happening. But legally, motive doesn't mean shit. They don't care about motive. So that's a problem. And there was apparently a lot of people within a few hundred feet of the intersection. It's a drug fucking corner. Like, there's a lot of people there, but these two at the bus stop are the only two people that agreed to come forward and testify, which, if you read Homicide again, they say they can't, when they go into a crowd after a murder, they can't get anybody to say a fucking word for shit. They know everybody saw it. No one will say shit. They have to live there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if it's a fucking drug execution.
Yeah.
Do you want to piss those people off? They do drug executions. Why would you be any different?
And if you're in the neighborhood a lot, you know them, they know you, they know where you live.
Why the fuck would you get, or your family, you're in there visiting friends. Well, now your friends are going to get, it's scary shit. So, there's no murder weapon or other physical evidence, so that's the problem. Faust also is another guy, a friend of his, Faust, who's a 36-year-old sanitation worker. He says that Reggie was training the night of the murder and then joined Petway jogging in Clifton Park, because he said he trained with him at the gym and then he went with him to the park. He said they continued their road work, and this is what Petway said, that they were alone jogging. This guy came in and was like, no, I was jogging with him and Petway.
Oh, boy.
Because the witnesses don't see each other's testimony.
Got
if they had something worked out, that could get fucked up. Like, he said, you were training there, and then he was trying to fill in his time. I trained at the gym. He jogged with me over to here. Somebody was with me the whole time, but Petway was just like, no, I was with him and we were alone. They were like, so you were alone then? You had no other boxers with you? No. I was like, okay. Looking at the jury like, they brought out this other guy saying,
I don't know what to tell you guys.
It's one of those here. Yeah. They asked Faust about him, and he said, quote, Reggie's got a lot of potential. As a light heavy, he was as good as Tyson. I really agitate him when he's not putting out, talking about boxing, not fucking. He said, but he never loses his cool. You can't read minds, but I don't think he's a violent person outside the ring. So, they said that he was with him. He knows that he was with him because he was sparring with him that night, and he's a lot smaller than Reggie, so he remembers getting his ass kicked by Reggie, and he said it got a little heated, and, it was fine. So he said, after we did our running that night, Reggie came by my house to watch some fight tapes. He loves watching himself fight. And then he said that he didn't leave his house till midnight. Yeah. So that's how that went. And the prosecution witnesses are a little different. They produced 4 eyewitnesses in the end here. They said that 2 of them, Alexander and Earl Booker, the cousins, they said they saw Reggie dressed in a red jumpsuit, approach Coxon by a phone booth, pull a gun out of a pouch, and shoot him. And then they described how he killed him. He said that basically, oh my God, this is amazing. This is the Baltimore Sun saying this. In the end, their testimony would be clouded over with doubt by the court theatrics of Glazer. That's the defense attorney, Glazer. Quote, Gross's silver-haired attorney.
Get out.
Jimmy?
That is fantastic.
Gross's silver-haired attorney. Silver-haired, middle-aged white man. It's in print. By the Baltimore Sun.
Baltimore Sun.
Thank you, Baltimore Sun. This is fucking beautiful.
Silver-haired.
That's awesome.
It's good.
This attorney had recently been portrayed in a television adaptation of Deadly Intentions about a Tucson, Arizona case in which Patrick Henry, who was a doctor in Baltimore, was charged with murdering his ex-wife.
In Tucson.
In Tucson. So, that's a thing there. So, anyway, Alexander is another guy. He's a part-time cab driver. He said that his cousin had told him about seeing Reggie shoot Andre. So now they're letting hearsay in to prove that he didn't just say it when the cops asked him about it, but he told his family members about it too. They said that Alexander was returning from a visit with his girlfriend. He said he noticed 2 men standing on the corner, the red suit, all that shit here. They had him point Reggie out. He pointed him out, all of that thing. They said that they heard 6 shots fired in all. They said the victim came to rest 2 or 3 feet from the yellow line in the middle of the street. So he was crawling to the middle of the street. Yeah. And this guy came middle of the fucking street, stood over him, and pumped 3 more into his head.
That's terrifying.
That is
cold,
ballsy.
Yeah.
That's I'm such
so
a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
I'm doing this in front of everybody because I know none of you motherfuckers have the balls to say anything. That's how much I run this bitch.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's confidence.
That tells you what he is in the neighborhood, though. Because if he was nobody, they'd be like, fuck that guy.
Right.
He's a bad motherfucker, and they're afraid of him, though. So then they said, apparently they initially described him as weighing about 150 pounds. And then they changed it to 150 and they changed it to 170. So Gross's lawyer said, quote, "You juiced it up, didn't you?" You're trying to make it so he fits him now.
Yeah.
Which you can't tell somebody's weight from across the street when they're shooting and they're wearing a jumpsuit. Who knows?
It's dark.
Who the fuck knows? Yeah, that's what I mean. He says, but they said, quote, "If you watch a person get gunned down, it's a whole different thing." That's what the witness said. You watch a person get gunned down, you remember it. You might not remember how much the guy weighed, but you remember the shooting. Yeah. So May 2nd, 1987 in court, this is the verdict. And it comes out first-degree murder, not guilty.
Oh, acquitted.
Acquitted of first-degree murder charges. Absolutely fucking acquitted. Done. They said they did not believe. Jurors said they didn't believe the witnesses.
Left a body in the middle of the street. Yep. Acquitted.
They thought the witnesses must have had something going on, charges of their own they were trying to get dropped. Wow. That's the other thing. They know how the system works, a lot of these people, so they go, we don't know what they're trying to get for themselves and shit like that. Not like, I'm sure they were being good citizens. Like, no, I'm not sure about those motherfuckers. They could have been up to something for themselves.
And that's how the system stays dirty.
That's right. So 7 women, 5 men is the jury. And one of them here, this is a juror from Pimlico area, northwest Baltimore. He said there were a very strong 6 who were adamant about the jurors that he was innocent. He said they felt that there were inconsistencies with the eyewitnesses and they harped on them. He said the other 6 jurors, including himself, believed that Reggie was guilty, but were eventually run over by the arguments of the others. In other words, eventually they were like, all right, I got to go home. Right. I'm not fucking, this doesn't matter enough to me.
This isn't going to change your mind. It's not going to change my mind. I'll just go with you, and because there's consequences for everybody going with me.
That's what I mean. You think of juries as like this fact machine that'll come out with an answer, and a little ticket will come out and it'll go, oh, guilty. No, there's a lot of politics just in the internal of who's got bigger personalities in the jury room, who can bully people.
Think about it. You can't figure out what kind of cake you're having on fucking birthday day in your office.
Let's say when you were married, you're having problems with your fucking wife, and you're texting back and forth and all this shit, and you guys are fighting, and you have something going on at work, and then you're in a jury thing, and you think somebody's fucking guilty, and someone's going, not guilty, and you're going to be there another day. You're like, you know what? Fine. Not guilty. Right. I don't fucking care. And you go back to your phone because you're pissed and you have your own problems.
You got to find out what time my fucking mother-in-law's coming over this weekend, and I don't care about this.
I don't want to know. So the witness there, Petway, he says, quote, "You don't get too close in the gym, but Reggie is one of the guys I know. We're good friends. The prosecutor tried to say that's why I covered up for Reggie, but when you're telling the truth, you remember it, and I'm not going to risk my boxing career for a friend." Okay. So, the reaction afterwards from Reggie, he's mad. He said, all the time in jail, I read the papers and heard on TV, Gross is up for murder. They even mentioned it before a fight on ESPN. Apparently they said, yeah.
It's a sports news network. That's what they do.
That's exactly right. And said, Prosecutor Clavins called me a cold-blooded killer, and they wouldn't give me bail because they were afraid I'd go after the witnesses who all told lies. It was all he say, she say. Now that I was found innocent, where are all the apologies? Someone's got to pay.
I mean, innocent is the apology.
Yeah, I guess. I wouldn't want to be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This would all sound really reasonable if he probably didn't do it. That's right. If I thought he didn't do it. That's the thing. But we find out that we'll find out later what actually happened here. So he says he will restart his boxing career and make the most of his second chance. He said, now it's like starting all over. It's going to be rough, but I'm 26 now. I'm running out of chances. Good Lord. Jesus Christ. First day out of jail, he went to Mac Lewis's gym and started fighting again. Yeah. August 25th, 87, he's got a fight coming up against Frank Bruno, who's a big fighter, in a few days, and he's still pissed about the trial. Mm-hmm. He says, quote, they owe me 8 months of my life and my money, $27,000 from the Tyson fight. I spent all of it except for the $5,000 I used to buy my 1982 Cutlass and for a sharp lawyer like Harold Glazer. I was going to buy my mother furniture and clothes for my daughter Nakia. All the time in jail, I read in the papers and heard on TV, Gross is up for murder. He's pissed. Yeah. Can't buy his daughter furniture now.
All he's got is a Cutlass.
Got an 82 Cutlass. A sweet ride. It's a sweet ride.
It's all right.
Sweet ride, man. It'll do. August 30th, 87. He's in Spain.
Okay.
He's going to get out of the U.S. because they're just people are going. They know in
what
Spain they don't know.
August?
87. August 87.
August in
August. He's Europe. That's what I mean. He's like, well, it's the 30th.
That's his thing.
I'll travel down from France.
Riviera.
I guess it's fine.
I'm in.
The Riviera. He fights Frank Bruno, who's a real good fighter, 40-5 in his career.
Right.
That's right. This is a TKO loss for Reggie in 8, but he hasn't fought in a while, and it's kind of understandable. He's 18-6 now. This is $15,000 he makes for this fight.
It's not bad.
That's something. He needs something. He just got out of jail. October 11th, 87, Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Jesus.
Going down there. Fights Adelson. Adelson.
Oh.
That's weird.
That's the last
Adilson Rodriguez.
Oh,
Adilson Rodriguez.
Jesus.
His career record is 77-7-1.
Oh, that's a great fighter.
That's a great fighter.
That I've never heard of.
No.
What?
South American guys, they fight. There's a million guys that have fought 100 fights down there.
That's
that you have no idea about. Yeah, it's a lot. This is a majority. It goes to decision, and it's a split decision, but it's a loss for Reggie. So probably fought a good fight if he at least won one of the judges over.
Right.
And he makes $10,000 for it as well.
Not bad.
That's fine. January 6th, 88, Baltimore Arena. He fights Harry the Spoiler Terrell, who's an 18-1 career. He lost to Dokes 2 fights earlier. Michael Dokes from a few episodes back there. This is a knockout win for Reggie in the 7th, bringing him to 19-7. So next he fights, this is June 27th, 88. This is on the undercard of Tyson Spinks. Okay, big pay-per-view event. Tons of people watching. Convention Hall, Atlantic City. He fights Donovan Razor Ruddock.
Really?
Who, at the time was an up-and-comer and turns into a very, very, very good fighter. Gave Tyson a run for his money. He's 40 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw for his whole career.
That's impressive.
It's a bad man. This is a TKO loss in the 2nd. Fucking Ruddock fucks him up. Ruddock's nasty, and he was coming up strong here. So he's 19-8 now. He makes $8,500 for that fight. And I hope he hangs on to it because a few months later he's got problems. November 4th, 1988, he is under arrest and taken into custody at his stepfather's house at around 4 p.m. No struggle. They didn't do the whole thing at the gym this time. Why did he get arrested, you may ask?
I'd like to know.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's take this from the Baltimore Sun. Quote, because Gross lived a double life. He was an enforcer for one of Baltimore's most violent drug gangs. Federal prosecutors are accusing him of serving as a paid assassin for a heroin dealer who waged a bloody war to control drug commerce in and around a West Baltimore housing project that no longer exists. By the way, remember the housing project getting knocked down? That's from that. In an indictment aimed at busting that drug gang, a federal grand jury pinned 3 brutal street killings on Gross, all occurring in September 1986, just 3 months after his main event with Mike Tyson.
3 months after.
He was murdering people 3 months after that in the streets, they're saying. This is the whole wire takedown of the whole organization. That's this.
Wow.
That's the whole season 1 of The Wire. Going after Avon and taking people down for murder and getting these people. And that's what happened. That's what this is all based on.
And he's like the Kuklinski of Baltimore.
Yes, he is we'll talk about it even more. But
is he Snoop's partner?
He hangs out with, he's kind of like that. He's kind of like a weebay is what I get him.
Okay.
The best thing I can see is he's a weebay.
All right.
Like he's he's an enforcer. I mean, that's what he does. Weebay didn't do anything with business.
Right.
Weebay was just, all right, we're going to kill that motherfucker now. That was his job. So he'd give it to people once he got bigger. But either way, he was in the muscle end of the business. Now, to be more specific, the grand jury alleges that he was a paid assassin, like we said, shot and killed 3 men, and assisted in the wounding of another, for Warren Bordley, who's the leader of a ring that sought to gain control of the drug trade. It's the same thing. Weebay went way back with Avon. It's the same shit. This was at Lexington Terrace and the Poe Homes Project. You know this if you've watched The Wire, all these places. Mr. Bordley and 8 others were also indicted yesterday. It was a sweep. They did a whole giant investigation. And this, when you read the homicide book, they talk about it because the guy, Ed Burns, who's one of the executive producers of The Wire, was the guy running this investigation.
Really?
And he had taken a couple of the homicide detectives, like the one was Harry Edgerton, with him to do this big, long federal investigation with wiretaps and shit, which is the basis of The Wire. The whole show.
That's the whole reason for the name of the show.
Exactly. So, in addition to Reggie, there's another one, Fields, and then Floyd Drunky Grace also are described as enforcers. So they're the enforcers. They're like the Bird and Weebay and who's the other one? Fuck, I can't remember now.
Don't look at me.
So
I don't know names.
The indictment alleges.
I'm lucky I know the plot.
That's great.
I tried so hard. There are so many fucking moving pieces.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Everything changes. Every episode has 2-3 things that are key to the plot that you need to know for the next show. And if you miss any of them, and you start the next show, you're like, I don't get it. You got to rewatch the shit.
It's always better to watch all the episodes twice.
Yeah.
Always better, because then you go, okay, now I'm grasping everything. Because in addition to that, like, Sarah just doesn't know a lot of East Coast street lingo because she's not from the East Coast.
Right.
So I have to translate some of the shit for her to tell her what the fuck they're talking about because they don't. It's not made for. They're not simplifying it, so you're going to get it in Indiana. There's talking how people talk, and you either understand what they're saying or not. So there'd be a scene, she'd be like, I have no idea what just happened there. And I'd be like, okay, I got to explain it. And it would be something where if you don't know, like, the street lingo, you would never.
And if you don't, if you get the street stuff with Avon and Prop Joe and all those guys, once they get into the fucking, the Polish guys in the union stuff, the lingo changes entirely. It's an entirely different thing.
Totally
different. Talking about cans and
totally
girls
different.
getting smuggled. It's crazy.
It's insane. And you have to know dock language. Now you're a dock worker. Like, what's happening?
But union stuff I get, so that was my favorite season.
So I hated that one because I didn't know anything about fucking
and that dipshit. I loved it all.
Ziggy, I don't know anything about the union stuff. I know much more about drugs than unions. So
I love it.
Come into that. So this alleges that Drunky Grace shot Spencer Downer, who was one of the Downer brothers that we talked about. One of 3 brothers who are 3 into Prop Joe, who they had to make him fat, who ran the rival gang. This was on May 2nd, 86. This was right before the Tyson fight.
Yep.
So that's crazy. Gross participated in a second shooting of Mr. Downer on August 26, 1986. Mr. Fields and Mr. Grace allegedly were involved in the attempted murder of Alan Downer, another brother who was shot June 22nd, 86, which was like right after the Tyson fight.
I can now see why he thinks he can beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He is a fucking cold-blooded killer.
He's going around killing motherfuckers. He feels invincible.
Is Tyson walking around in the Catskills killing people?
No, he was hanging out with an old guinea.
Right.
Watching
what's he got
tapes of Floyd Patterson, probably.
Me in Baltimore.
Well,
he ain't shit.
And he found out that left hook is worse than a gunshot. I'd rather get hit with a 38 than that left hook. I got a better chance.
He's got a 38 in his bicep.
Fuck.
That stung.
So the other 2 murder victims here that they're talking about, and these are the main ones that Reggie is charged with, were killed as they sat on the steps of a house at the 600 block of Gold Street in West Baltimore at 6:15. Sitting on the steps, it's a little drug operation, like we've seen on the steps there. One of them collapsed on the sidewalk when he was shot and shot several more times in the head, and the other one was killed as he ran down the street.
Jesus.
And this is Reggie's deal. So it is Bordley and Christopher Burrows are the 2 leaders. That is Avon and Stringer Bell.
Right.
And 4 lieutenants, a drug supplier, and 2 other enforcers were charged with racketeering, conspiracy, various narcotics violations. Mr. Bordley was also charged with murder in aid of racketeering. So is Reggie, by the way.
Really?
So this is like organized crime murder he's being charged with.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, he's being charged like he's Gotti or some shit.
A RICO case.
Kind of, yeah. So Bordley and Burrows were arrested along with 2 other alleged members of the organization that were also indicted. Calvin Ford and Nadir Abdullah were also known as Dython Roberson, apparently changed his name. They're being held without bail. The indictment is a result of a 2-year investigation by the FBI, just like The Wire, Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service and Baltimore Homicide Detectives. So the indictment identifies Charles Moe Fields, Thomas Mann Ross, and James Papa Smurf Queen, Papa Smurf is his nickname, as being involved in the distribution end of the business here. So all these names, if you can kind of put them in a pyramid and kind of see where they're going. Yep. Enforcers, leaders, lieutenants, distributors here. Prosecutors identified them as lieutenants in the organization. The indictment alleges that Reggie Gross killed 3 men as an enforcer for Bordley. Jesus Christ, trying to stamp out competition here. The prosecutor, in announcing the indictment, he called the group a major heroin trafficking organization that controlled the drug trade in West Baltimore in the projects, and said it randomly and routinely used violence. We will not allow our streets to be turned into the trenches of drug warfare.
Wow.
Okay, grandstanding.
It's a bit late, sir.
Calm down, Chief. Calm down, homie.
You got yourself a pandemic, sir.
Yeah, pandemic. Shouting it out. And we don't mean COVID.
No.
So charges here against him. Reggie's charged with racketeering, murder in aid of racketeering, and conspiracy to distribute heroin and cocaine. Those are big charges. Yeah. Those are a lot. He's arrested, like we said, at his stepdad's house, which was the 2500 block of Holland Street. The Bordley, apparently, according to the indictment, Bordley uses the street name Black, apparently, which is, I believe, didn't fucking somebody say that Avon went by Black back in the day on The Wire?
That may be a thing.
I want to say they said that.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing. Back east, growing up, I knew 3 kids with the nickname Black.
Really?
So you get Little Black, Big Black, and
really?
Black. That's how it was, yeah.
My.
That was what they called themselves.
Jesus.
I don't know. What's your name? I'm Black.
I don't like.
All right, what's up, Black? What are you supposed to say to them?
I don't like calling somebody Little Black or Big Black.
I don't either. But if you got 3 blacks and you don't know, and I mean 3 guys named Black, not 3 black guys. They are 3 black guys, but the 3 black guys that say their name is Black. Where am I supposed to go? I'm not going to call you by your name.
That's the difference between Arizona and New York.
Yeah.
Out here, if your name is Blackie, you are an old fat white man.
Yeah, that's Blackie. Hey, Blackie. Well, yeah, I remember that guy's
rides
name.
a motorcycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And
and I knew 3 of them.
And knows no black people.
Right.
So they say that Bordley was the one giving the orders here. So they say that it was the war against the Downers. That was the Downers group. They're the 3 brothers. They said that he used intimidation and violence to eliminate all these people. They said that they included runners, stash holders, paid assassins, a fucking drug ring. Right. So they said they would not say how much Reggie was paid for the murders, but I'll tell you in a few, and it is very low.
Not near as much as you think.
No.
It's
more lucrative to get punched in the head.
$5,000?
We'll talk about it. Not 5 though.
Oh, no, really?
They say that Reggie used a Mac 11 submachine gun to murder Zachary Roach and Rodney Young on September 23rd, 1986 at Golden Edding. He fucking lit up a drug corner with a fucking machine gun. That's insane.
Wow.
That's wild shit, man. That is wild. Gross was paid the sums of $2,000 or $3,000 for each of the murders there in 86, which are ordered by Bordley. Wow.
That's why you get caught. You know what I mean?
I would say so.
Kuklinski was taking 6 figures or 5 figures, the upper end of that.
The upper end of that.
Right.
This is
talking
just
about near $100,000 a hit.
This is just putting a few bucks in your pocket,
right.
And that's the same
This will
thing.
get you to the next hit.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so, has he been training during all this? Well, since the Razor Ruddock fight, Mac Lewis says, quote, Reggie has not been in the gym since that fight. They said, Mac said he was alarmed by this latest development. He said, no father wants to see children in trouble. I've tried to be a father and an example to each of these kids. I'm really sorry what has happened. It hurts to know this. So why wasn't he just training? Right. Why was he doing all this? Let's let him explain it. Quote, I was strung out on heroin by that time.
You needed drugs.
Yep. I was doing drugs hard. I was robbing people just to get fixes. I overdosed once, was taken to the hospital to be revived after a month and a day of getting high. I had my car and my house and my girl and everything, but she didn't know I was going around robbing. She used to fuss at me all the time and find needles in my shoes. Jesus. So he'd hide them. We've been robbing people all over the city all month for drugs, money, and for more drugs. That's his fucking thing. And he said on Gold Street, quote, there wasn't supposed to be no killing. Because that's a drug corner, so you don't kill on a drug corner because that brings attention to that shit. You don't want to do that. You go down a fucking alley. That's bringing
you don't
heat.
need the heat, right?
So I mean, he is fucked in a big way.
Oh yeah,
this isn't we got 2 witnesses that were blah blah blah. This is federal investigation, wiretaps, 2 years worth, which means they waited till they really had you to get you. You are fucked.
Yeah.
And he is so fucked. He needs an attorney. He needs something.
Yeah.
He needs something. And he finds a man for advice for him. And it's not an attorney, which is the odd part about it. He needs an attorney. You'd think maybe he'd go to Mac Lewis for advice. It's not even Mac Lewis.
Good start.
He finds the only man who could possibly help him out there. You know who it is?
Who's that?
It's Adam Pac-Man Jones, arugula connoisseur. And he says, well, how is it that you've come to arrive here? I don't understand why you're here. Why would they put you in here? You're clearly a professional, an athlete of a certain degree, I would say. And this is ridiculous. You walk. It's a very crowded street.
Yeah.
So you walk by. Maybe you're in training. You're walking. You're doing exercise things. And so a man gets tragically murdered. How is that your fault? Maybe you were in the area. It's tight knit. It's tight knit.
Right.
You were helping the man, probably. Did you attempt to give him like a CPR? Possibly. I would say so. That's what there was a mistake. They said, "Oh, he shot. You were just giving CPR to the gentleman." And this is what I don't understand. It's ridiculous. Breaking into a woman's house. No, I'm sure maybe like it was windy, a potted plant fell off of her stoop, and you said, ma'am, return it to her. Like, geez.
Man, is this forgiving?
Well, golly, geez, man. I'll tell you, these people don't know what they're talking about, accusing people of things. Jesus, I got to get out of here. I'm so angry right now. Poof. And a poof of arugula and very fine topsoil. He's gone.
Vinaigrette.
Yeah, with vinaigrette. And Reggie's like, wow, yeah, that.
He gets it.
Motherfucker
11 more of him.
Shit.
11 more of him in the jury box.
Get him in there. Fuck, he doesn't live around here? Shit. Never mind.
Find him in the Atlanta airport.
I'll fight him in the Atlanta airport. So 1989, the trial is going to come up, and this is he's fucked. Yeah. This is a mountain of evidence. And then if you go, well, that's not true, they go, okay, well, here's you telling someone it's true.
Right.
There's a wiretap, and I got another one, and then here's a guy say it's too much. So at the last minute, he pleads guilty.
Really?
He decides to plead guilty because they have a piece of evidence that besides all the wiretaps and everything else, something he cannot overcome. And it's an informant.
Oh, no.
You know who that informant is?
Oh, no.
Larry Donald Andrews. Do you know who that is?
No.
The real Omar.
What?
The real Omar. The man who Omar is based on.
It's all in the game, baby.
It's all in the game, baby.
I got the shotgun.
That's
you got
it.
the briefcase.
That's it.
That's who they're going to trot in
Larry Donald Andrews, the baddest motherfucker on the street, has flipped.
Oh,
he
boy.
got busted for a murder. He started, David Simon sent him articles that he wrote about the things that were going on in jail.
Right.
Just in case. So Omar, we'll just say it's Omar. It's going to be confusing otherwise. Omar started sending David Simon letters back, giving him info.
Oh, shit.
He's like, you seem to know shit. What about this? You check this motherfucker out. Check all this shit out.
Right.
So David Simon got all this info. And then after a while here, he decided to flip and become an informant.
Right.
Go out on the street, get info, wear a wire, all this shit,
Don't
right?
believe me? Go look at Mike's hind parts.
That's it. So, so look at go look at his hind parts. So Omar, quick background on him, the real Omar, how that came about. He's not gay, by the way, the real Omar, as we'll get into. When
Which is awesome.
Marries a woman later on. Well, it's not awesome that he's not. It's awesome that they made the character. Yeah, I know what you're saying. People are going to be like, Jesus Christ, Jimmy. Fuck. He's not gay? Awesome. Good. I'm glad he's not sucking cock because I was fucking grossed out.
I was so offended.
I was really offended.
No, it's the best part of the fucking show.
So
that guy's gay.
He grew up in the projects in West Baltimore, physically abused by his mother, and at age 9, witnessed a man get beat to death for 15 cents.
What?
15 cents.
But for like the money in his pocket was just 15 cents.
Didn't want to give it to somebody, so they beat him to death for 15 cents. So that's he was, I think, 9 when that happened. So he's got a certain view of know how the streets are played and how everything is and how you have to be if you're going to be running around in these streets.
But that shows you the temperature of the world.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good gauge of the thermostat. Exactly. When somebody's murdered for 15 cents.
All right, I see.
Ice cold. Got it.
That's how you got to be. He became a stick-up artist who he robs drug dealers. That's what he does. So that just like Omar. And his code of ethics, he was known in the streets for never involving women or children, which was always Omar's thing, too. And that was actually a thing he was known for, that like he doesn't fuck with women, he doesn't fuck with children. Yeah. He was known to police for armed robbery and drug dealing in the 70s and early 80s. And finally, he was on heroin, Andrews was, Omar, and Warren Bordley convinced him in 86, because he needed money for heroin, to go partner up with Reggie Gross and take care of the contract killing of Zachary Roach and Rodney Young.
How about this?
So it was Omar and Reggie side by side.
Wow.
That was who killed these people, okay? So afterwards, apparently, he felt bad. He felt guilty. There was some sort of something about it that it didn't sit right with him, and he surrendered.
Really?
Omar just surrendered to Ed Burns, who's the guy who ends up being the supervising consultant for The Wire, whatever the fuck he is.
Just gave him everything.
He's David Simon's partner in The Wire.
It's like, I didn't want to do these two. These two bother me.
Yeah, which was a homicide. He was the homicide detective there, and he ends up working with Burns, and he agrees to wear a wire to go undercover to implicate Bordley to get the kingpin and to get Reggie Gross as well.
How about that?
It's fucking crazy. Black was his nickname too. That was Warren Bordley, and then the other one. Okay, so he does all of that. The judge agrees to recommend early parole for Omar in an attempt to repay him for what the U.S. attorney called his significant and courageous cooperation.
In other words, we can't do this shit without you.
We can't. No, they couldn't.
Yeah.
The prosecutor made an early parole request for him after he credited Omar, Andrews, with providing absolutely critical evidence against Bordley and hitman Reggie Gross and other gang members, they say. The prosecutor said Andrews' work as an informant helped the government crush the violent drug organization that dominated the cocaine and heroin trafficking in the Lexington Terrace Poe housing projects in 1986. This is all Baltimore Sun, by the way. Andrews was in the witness protection wing of a federal prison for almost 2 years. And he told the FBI in 1987, that's when he confessed to the Gold Street murders from 86. Once he was put away, that's when he said, I did that shit with Reggie, which is what Reggie got arrested for. Then he went undercover to get evidence. Omar here ends up pleading guilty to a single charge of murder in aid of racketeering at a closed court hearing and agreed to cooperate in return for a life imprisonment recommendation from the government sentencing, not a life imprisonment recommendation. So, yes, he confesses to these murders. He goes into graphic details on how he and Reggie used .38 caliber pistols and Mac 11 machine guns to murder these guys together. That's how he got two, one on the ground and one running down the street, because there's two of them.
Right.
They also gave details of the rest of the gang's activities, let prosecutors and grand juries to convictions of all these fucking people. The prosecutor said of Omar here that he went into the mouth of the lion virtually unprotected. He linked together all the pieces of the puzzle.
Okay.
He went in and got everybody to admit on recording of who they were and what they were doing and put it all together for them in a neatly wrapped bow, basically. Just like Omar kept doing on The Wire when he didn't like somebody. He'd give them shit. It's the same exact. They really made him like that a lot. So it's weird here. It's a strange thing.
It's just you don't gotta dress it up with how fucking dangerous of the thing he did.
He was doing dangerous. He was doing heroin and street murders.
He's a dangerous man in the first place in a dangerous environment. Going into the mouth of the lion unprotected, that ain't shit.
Yeah, they weren't suspecting Omar.
But putting the wire on him, if they see that, he's certainly dead. So that's kind of like putting a little salt and pepper on the steak in the lion's mouth.
True. But anybody going to strip search Omar?
No.
Hell no.
No.
I don't think so.
Good
luck. That's I like that.
Come here.
Also credited Omar with becoming drug-free in prison, the prosecutor did, after years of heroin addiction, with studying to become an electrician and with working at a paying job in prison.
Yeah.
The prosecutor said his life has changed dramatically. Omar wept and spoke in broken sentences as he thanked, quote, Mr. Sheeler, who's the prosecutor, and all the agents for standing behind me throughout his undercover work. He said, quote, they showed me opportunity, that I'm a much better person than I thought I was. I did a lot of wrong things in my life, but that's the way I was brought up. I want the opportunity to show them, to show my mother and my wife that I could be successful in society.
Oh, my God. Make those words ring.
So.
That's fucking everything.
That's perfect.
That's the solution to our problems, is that sentence.
Yeah. No shit.
When people don't feel desperate and at the mercy of their environment, it's weird that they will be positive influences in life.
It's weird, right? Jesus Christ.
Given the opportunity, I changed my life.
To not have to do this, I could do better. So,
fucking weird.
If the case went to trial, they had another witness named Richard Ivory Williams who was prepared to testify that he had discussed with Gross and Bordley the murder of Andre Coxon, the guy he got acquitted of. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this works because he's been acquitted of it, but now there's new evidence, but he's already been acquitted of it. So they're going to pin it on the other guys too who ordered it, I guess. And so anyway, he says that he witnessed Gross gun him down that day. Donnie Andrews, who's Omar, he said that he heard Gross and another enforcer discuss a $25,000 fee for the Coxon killing. Of that, he said Gross received $3,000. Yeah.
The guy that does all the work gets an eighth?
That's what it is. Well, it gets more here. Wow. Donnie Andrews also admitted to the August of 86 shooting of a Bordley rival, Spencer Downer, at the bus stop in West Baltimore. He said he's at a bus stop. He's a drug kingpin. Yeah. What the hell are you doing at a bus stop? He said he used a .38 caliber handgun provided by Reggie Gross, and then he paid Reggie Gross $1,000. So, yeah. I'm sorry, that Reggie Gross paid him $1,000 for the hit from Bordley.
Right.
He was the middleman in that one. And then he admitted to teaming with Gross for the close-range shootings, right up fucking point blank, for Rodney Young and Zachary Roach in Gold Street in West Baltimore. And Andrews says that Gross and Bordley gave him $2,000 for both the hits.
Eesh.
Only $2,000 he got because he was fucking on heroin. So they were like, he'll do it for less. So, yeah. That's Jesus Christ.
So scummy.
Now, he admits to everything. He doesn't admit to the killings. Mm-hmm. Gross said that he pled guilty on the advice of his attorneys and because of pressure from other people in the drug crew.
Right.
It's like on The Wire, they want people to take fucking deals and get in jail and shut the fuck up and don't do anything. Or don't take deals, fight it, but don't talk.
Right.
Whatever you're going to do.
And if you do talk, or if you become a problem, we'll fucking ratchet your ass to a door handle.
So he said deals were being cut among gang members. Through the grapevine, he said he heard some threats from people about, you better take a fucking deal and all that. He says, quote, there was talk that if I didn't take the deal, my kids would be hurt or killed. He said, if anyone hurts this plea agreement, man, we going to kill babies, wives, and mothers. I was the only one who had babies. So I find that hard to believe. Their whole drug crew, no one's slip one past the goalie, a bunch of 30-year-old guys.
Bunch of dudes.
It's a bunch of 30-year-old guys. You get 10 30-year-old guys, one of them has kids? No.
They're all responsible.
A couple of them have a couple, Like if any 10 friends I can think about that I know that are 30 years old or older, more than one of them has kids. Any group of 10.
The amount of them that don't have kids is way less.
Way less, yeah.
It's staggering.
Yep. Gross had 3 daughters now because his son had died. His youngest was just an infant. He says, quote, my family can't defend itself. So the plea here, he pleads guilty to 3 murders, but he denies involvement in 2 of the killings to a court investigator who was preparing the pre-sentencing report. This isn't good for sentencing. His lawyer, though, says that his client does not deny that he took part in the double murder. He only denies that he was one of the gunmen. He says that he was the wheelman, just the driver of the getaway car here. So sentencing comes around, and Reggie has some things to say. He said, I've made some huge mistakes. I can't change the past. I can do better in the future, is what he says to the judge here. He said, I know that I will be going away for a long while. I just pray that it will not be for the rest of my life. And he says that he's not, quote, that person portrayed by the prosecutors. He's actually a nice guy with 3 small children, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
The judge, on the other hand, he says, quote, you fell from a most promising career as a boxer.
We call that grace.
We call that Grace, exactly. Thank you, Your Honor, for getting our backs on this one. This is great. The Baltimore Sun with the silver-haired look. I'm telling you, dude, they're all coming around.
Right.
So he says, unfortunately, you elected a life in which you were subsequently to pursue some of the most brutal crimes. He described the killings as premeditated, malicious, and cold-blooded, which they usually don't do before they give you a light sentence. He said that the judge made, let's see here, blah, blah, blah. He says, you, sir, may fuck off 3 life terms.
Oh, my.
3. And we'll talk about it. This is,
plea.
The life, because he won't admit to it, too.
Right.
That's the judges don't like that shit. He made 2 of the life terms consecutive
It's
to bang him double, too, because otherwise it's
my.
like 20 or 30 years on those. So he goes, let's stack it and make it 60.
Right.
Yeah, which means that he will not be eligible for parole for at least 20 years, which is a third of the sentence, which would be 3 20-year sentences.
Right.
How that works. So let's see here. He's pretty fucked. The judge went beyond the prosecutor's recommendation.
Ouch.
They didn't recommend 3 life terms. 2 of them to run consecutively. That's like the prosecutor was like, well, damn.
Uh-oh.
Fuck, I asked for a PlayStation. I got a PlayStation and an Xbox. This is great. Thanks, Mom. That was fucking terrific.
And the defense is holding his hand going, I am so sorry.
I didn't. You should have just admitted to it, though. That's the thing here. And it says that under guidelines that existed at the time of his crimes, his sentence is viewed as 60 years by the U.S. Parole Commission. He'll be eligible for parole after serving a third of that, about 2009. But it will be difficult for a hitman to win parole at his first eligibility, especially one that won't even fucking admit to doing it and show any remorse.
Your daughters are going to be retired before you get out, man.
Yep. Howard Gersh, the assistant state's attorney, said, as it all shakes out, he'll die in prison.
Yeah.
That's his prediction, and we'll find out how that goes. Now, when he's in Atlanta for a while...
Is that guy clairvoyant?
Yeah, he's clairvoyant, all right. So he gets moved around. Federal prison, they ship people all over the place.
Any state.
He's in Atlanta at one point, and he gets up to more than 300 pounds.
Oh,
he gets real fat in Atlanta. Then he loses some weight a little bit here. He loses a little bit of weight, and he ends up going to a couple other prisons. Nothing in these jails, though. He exercises, but you can't even shadow box.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that. Yeah. So 2001 interview in prison with the Baltimore Sun. He's in Edgefield, South Carolina.
Yeesh.
In prison. Here, it's bad.
Sure, that weather's nice.
Yup, he's in a 2-man cell in a maximum security place at the outskirts of Strom Thurmond's rural hometown, it says. Just where you want to be if you're fucking not good.
Is that Aiken?
What?
Is that Aiken, South Carolina?
I have no idea.
That's it's his hometown. Who knows?
Yeah,
my aunt lived down the street from that fucking guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a visitor. Good.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a visitor in 7 years.
Really?
No one's because he's in a place no one goes. So no 7 years. He said he hasn't seen his daughters in 12 years. He said that he said it doesn't know if he's ever going to get parole.
Yeah.
Nothing. He says it's bullshit. They should let him out because he's been good in prison.
Okay.
Let's let him explain it. Let's give him it in their own words on this one. What do you say? He hasn't talked
murdered
enough.
Anybody in here?
Come on.
It's hard to find a 38.
Jesus. He says in their own words, quote, I haven't had any fights, no violence. He says, I don't bother nobody. I keep to myself. I mind my own business and nobody bothers me. They know I can fight. Ain't no use in me going around bragging or none of that stuff. I don't do that. A lot of people say, man, why are you in prison? You don't belong in prison, man. They say that because of my personality, because I don't bother anybody, except for people that you shoot on the outside. He won't admit to his crime still, even at that point. He says, quote, I'm not going to admit to nothing I didn't do. He says, I'm innocent. I didn't pull no triggers on nobody, he says. He's had 2 meetings with federal parole officers since being in prison. Does a pre-thing. Each time he's supposed to, they say, okay, well, you pled guilty, but you're saying you didn't do it.
Right.
And he said, well, yeah, I didn't do it. And they say, well, then why haven't you committed to more of an effort to get your case reopened and, get out from under a false murder conviction?
Right.
And he just, that's it.
Ask Morgan Freeman and Shawshank how that shit works.
That's what I mean. It's like, he says, quote, they want me to admit it. I'm not going to admit to nothing I didn't do. I was young and I guess easily influenced, or I wanted to make an impression to people I thought I was tough. If I knew then what I knew now, I wouldn't be in this. Well, yeah, a lot of people feel like that. Right. He had declined to attend his last hearing in April.
That's not good.
No, he said, they talk too mean to me.
Oh, boy.
You're a boxing murderer. Right. What are you talking about? They talk too mean to me and I can't say nothing back. They talk mean and nasty like they want me to blow. Okay.
That's the idea. They got to see it.
The point is they're going to see if on the streets, if someone's a fucking asshole to you, will you react to it? Because if you'll do it with the parole board, you'll do it with literally anyone.
Yeah.
So it's literally just the first test.
You'll do it with people to you. Your freedom lays in their hands. What about the guy on the bus that fucking steps on your foot?
That's what I'm saying. That's the first thing is they have to be able to take that. He says they talk too mean to me and I can't argue.
Yeah.
Okay. He does make phone calls to Mac Lewis, though.
Really?
Yeah. He writes frequent letters to Mac, who's in his 80s at this point, enjoying, they're talking about old times. They talk about Hasim Rahman, who was from Baltimore. At the time, he knocked out Lennox Lewis, and that was a big deal. He says that Reggie earns $200 a month in the prison factory, which is a lot in prison.
That's really impressive.
Sewing buttonhole plackets on uniform shirts for the Army and Air Force.
Really?
That's what he's doing. So I feel like if you're doing shit maybe for federal, they pay you a little more. I'm not sure. Federal prison might have a better pay rate.
That's the reinforcement around the buttonhole, right?
Yeah, I think so. The little strings there.
That's cool.
Yeah. They said that he uses a good amount of his money to make phone calls to Mac Lewis. Yeah. That's who he talks to. He has nobody else to talk to. He says Lewis was also the last person to visit him in prison and remains his only contact from the old days. He says, Mac Lewis says, I hear from him all the time. I really feel sorry for him, but you do what you can. I can't correct everybody. I mean, he sounds like he feels sorry for him, but he also understands,
right?
He did what he did, and
probably
it's not his fault.
He feels some guilt, too.
Yeah.
That maybe some of it's his fault.
Who wouldn't feel that way? And, you got to feel kind of bad for the old guy for that. I mean, I feel bad for him. I really do. But not nearly as bad as I feel for Reggie Gross, CFO at Telos Wealth Management in Yakima, Washington. Put that, diversify your shit, motherfucker. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah. Fucking busting shots into people. I said bonds. Okay. Jesus.
Portfolio's weak, bitch.
Weak-ass portfolio. Reggie Gross, senior paid media manager in Germany. Reggie Gross, mail tech at Elite Print Services in Muncie, Indiana.
Oh, damn it.
Reggie Gross, industrial worker at BHP in Adelaide, Australia. And finally, Reggie Gross, dishwasher at Pizza Hut, Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Who possibly could be him
God.
if he got out.
Yes, that's what he'd be doing. In prison, he's earned his GHD, his GHD. I looked down and saw an H and said GA, and then I'm like, that's not the right thing. Here, I have one.
Right.
He earned his GED. In prison.
Seems much less impressive than a GHD.
GHD sounds important, doesn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
Also learned to operate a forklift and completed a course in pest control and attended numerous counseling programs, including one for drug abuse. And he's taken part in the Scared Straight program with South Carolina and Georgia at-risk teenagers.
So what you're telling me is he's useless.
Yeah, he's very scary, and he will scare a teenager into not wanting to commit crimes. Which, if you see this guy and he's like, you don't want to be in here with me, you'd be like, no, I don't. You're right.
And he knows when the Civil War was.
That's right. And his team won the prison basketball championship as well.
I believe that.
Very successful man here. He's very successful. So the last visit to Gross that was years ago was Mac Lewis with Petway, that other boxer there, and his two youngest daughters visited him in 1992 when he was in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. None of the girls have seen him since, and he hopes for a transfer closer to his hometown. He says, I get frustrated. I want to talk with my kids. I want to talk with my family. I can't do it all the time. In a letter from prison last summer, he said, quote, I have a contract with my mother, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, even the 18 new ones that were born since I've been in prison. Oh, I have contact. He says, even the 18 new ones that were born since I've been in prison. I love them all dearly, though I don't call that much. When I do call, they ask me the same thing. When are you coming home? We love you or we miss you.
That's more than one a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So he's saying it's too painful to call home because they just act like they miss him, or if he calls Mac Lewis, they can just talk about old boxing shit and it's fine.
And the family's growing and there's shit that's happening that I don't know about.
That's what he said.
Like I'm missing it.
Because I don't know shit. I don't know any of these fucking people. He says he watches television and follows sports.
Yep.
Says anything from Baltimore I root for. So 2007, he's still in prison. Omar is well on the outside.
Yeah.
Omar not only got out of prison, he worked as a consultant on The Wire and even had a really good role on The Wire, too.
So he's very well paid.
Yeah, he played Omar's friend Butchie, the blind old man who he used as a bank. His right-hand man, who's kind of an older, like kind of chubby big guy with like a backwards Kangol hat all the time. That's Omar. That's
the real
fucking Omar.
That's the guy that testified against
Yeah, that's the guy when Omar is scoping out in the car, scoping out that condo on like the 5th floor that he ends up jumping out of the window of. The guy who's in the car with him, the older guy, they're just listening to the old soul music.
Yeah.
That's fucking Omar. That's his boy. That's the real
guy.
Omar. So he had a good life, did that. 2007, he gets married.
Oh.
David Simon is his best man.
Stop it.
Swear to God. Omar's life just turned completely around.
Fuck?
Yep.
Give an opportunity.
McNulty was at his wedding. Kima was at his wedding. He had multiple. Yeah.
Everybody's there.
No, only 3 people were there.
No?
I can't remember the third, but it was Kima, McNulty, and somebody else were at his wedding. And then David Simon was the best man. He said that he married this woman, and we'll talk about it, that they've turned it all around because his new wife is a former junkie that was on heroin and was a prostitute and all this type of thing. And she says, Donnie is someone I can relate to because we both came from the street. We understand each other's language. Apparently, they were hooked up by Ed Burns, the homicide detective. Apparently, she was doing something. He had surrendered and all this type of thing. Burns and Simon had been interviewing her, Ms. Boyd, they call her, for the book that would become The Corner, the HBO miniseries. They were interviewing her for that. And they said that, it was just for some reason they gave him her phone number. They thought they'd get along. Andrew, what does it say here? Yeah, he says, quote, from the very first call, I could hear in her voice that she wanted help. She was looking for a way out. This is what Donnie says about her. And he said he was a former user, so he understood. And they talked for 4 or 5 hours at a time, getting $3,000 phone calls and shit like that. So, he would write letters and stuff and everything, and they ended up getting together, and he helped her detox and all this type of shit when she got out of jail, and they ended up exchanging photos, and they liked each other, and they end up getting married here. He says that David Simon says everything has a second and a third act. He says, and everybody gets to write their endings. Not Reggie Gross, unfortunately for him. But Donnie did.
He just wrote it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now he's acting it out.
No shit. 2008, Reggie's in prison, and he's still saying he didn't get a fair trial. He's saying that the whole thing is bullshit, and, he just said he's fucked. He's talking about he's had a tore knee ligaments at one point and can't get good help for it because he's in jail.
Because you're old.
Yeah, and they won't give him, good. He's talking about he can't get this operation for his... all this stuff. He's talking about prisoners needing better medical care, which is true. Yeah. He says, though, there's always new medical staff every 3 months. Now you're charged to be seen by medical. You have to pay $2 to be seen, and you have to fill out a request slip and put it in a medical box and then wait 3 to 5 days to be seen. So you have to pay $2 to request to go to medical.
That's fucked up.
That's rough if you don't make any money.
Yeah.
He says that this is Reggie's closing here. He says, quote, I am truly regretful for my past. I can't change the past. I can better the future for me and my family. When I make parole, I'm not going back to Baltimore. I'm moving to the South for the better. And I am and have been preparing myself for this day. He's getting out of Baltimore. Finally, we always say don't go home. He never left home.
Yeah.
He just stayed there. December 13th, 2012, Omar dies.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Omar did,
real
really?
Omar died,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Real Omar here. He died following heart complications while in New York City, where he was attending an event as part of his efforts to promote non-profit outreach foundation there.
Wow.
He was 58 years old here.
Put her to the end, huh?
Yeah.
After all of it.
He really did. Yeah, he never went back to anything. He just was solid, straight citizen after the whole, murder thing.
Sure.
That happens.
After all those.
So September of 2019, Reggie petitions the U.S. Court of Appeals as he believed he was eligible for mandatory release after 30 years as his crime occurred before the Sentencing Reform Act of 1984 came into effect. Okay. So the court found, in fact, that the Bureau of Prisons, who argued that because he is serving 2 consecutive life sentences, he would in fact need to serve 30 years on each of his 2 life sentences. So they had him for less than he should have been, actually.
Yeah.
They were going to get him eligible for parole in 20 when actually it's not.
No.
Now they're saying, no, it's for each. So now, yeah.
So if you get paroled on one, you still got to start the other.
Yeah, they said that he's not eligible for parole. They said under the act, a prisoner such as Gross is entitled to mandatory parole consideration after serving 30 years of each consecutive life term.
Ouch.
So in 60 years, you're eligible. That'll be good for you. He believes that his 2 life sentences should be treated like a single sentence and that he should be eligible for mandatory release. They disagreed, explaining that under the act, he needs to serve 30 years on each of 2. So he appeals and all this shit. And by the way, one of the justices in that is Amy Coney Barrett, which is how fucking strange.
That's bizarre.
Strange that shit happens right when... Yeah. I didn't know who the fuck that was.
Right.
3 months ago.
Never heard of her.
Very strange.
And now we've got to deal with her.
It's very weird in more than one way.
She matters.
So as of 2019, that time he was incarcerated at Terre Haute facility in Indiana. And now, as of right now, I looked at a federal inmate search. He is at the Springfield, where is he? Springfield, Missouri. MCFP Springfield. An Administrative Security Federal Medical Center. So I think he's in some sort of medical at this point. It has 858 inmates there. His release date is his tentative release date, November 1st, 2048.
Ouch. Jesus Christ.
Not good.
It's over for him.
It's bad. Yeah.
Oh,
like
boy.
Howard, like Gersh said, he's going to die in prison probably. So, but he's young though. You never know. He might be able to hold out.
Yeah, maybe.
No, he's getting up there.
He's in his 50s
Yeah,
now.
he's getting up now. He's almost 60 now. He's going to be 60 in 2022.
And he's at a medical center.
So
he's
probably not
he's
going to be
great.
90 by then. Never mind.
It's over. He's dying there.
He's dying. Can't get enough? Well, we can go to Boxing Treasures, where you can get a picture of Mike Tyson knocking him down. It's him mid-fall with Tyson like he just punched him. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome picture, I gotta say.
A man just falling.
You can see it. He's not even looking at Tyson. He's like, I don't know where the fuck I am. This is $24.95. And it's worth every penny of it. I don't care.
It's a snapshot of his life right there.
It's perfect. So that is Reggie Gross, everybody.
Blew it.
And it's October, so I figured we'd throw a couple murders at you here.
Yeah.
Murder, and then we had just serial rape before that. So what can we find next week? Who knows?
Fuck.
I think next week we'll just do Kurt Angle and get it over with. That'll be fun. We'll get into wrestling. It's been a while.
Good.
We need to kind of cleanse the palate here a little bit. Yeah. So if you enjoyed that show, let us know about it. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. God damn it. It helps out the show a lot. I can't tell you how much it does. For some reason, it drives you up the charts. So if you haven't done it, please help us out there. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything. Crime and sports and small town murder. We have it all, Jimmy. Right. Merchandise.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff. We have merch, we have things and stuff and information. Tickets to the virtual live show. October the 29th, it's a Thursday. It'll be up for 48 hours, though, if you're a little late to the party or busy Thursday, something like that. Get on it. We are going to do the all-violent felon edition of the prisoner dating game. 4 bachelors, 4 lucky bachelorettes. I show them to Jimmy. They're all incarcerated for horrible crimes. You guys get to see them, but Jimmy only gets to hear their description. Until, of course, he picks 1 lucky bachelor and 1 lucky bachelorette, and then he will see the pictures, and then, more importantly, he will hear why they're in prison, and, they're all terrible. Trust me, I picked some of the worst ones, and it's basically Jimmy's shell game of avoid the pedophile. So that's it. Check it out. It's going to be so much fun. Shutupandgivememurder.com. If you want to get yourself tons and tons of bonus material, that's very easy to do. You can be a Patreon contributor. You can have Jimmy mispronounce your last name.
Hell yeah.
Screw it all up. I mean, just fuck it to shit. It's going to be great.
It's going to be all fucked out.
It's going to be fucked out. Thrown in the bad bin. Everything. So, he'll mispronounce your name, and you will get access to all of our wonderful bonus material, which I gotta say, our bonus stuff is great. It's fun, man.
I'm proud of it.
It's fun shit. Last week's bonus that's up right now is the sports songs. Yeah. We got to hear Bret Hart sing a song about like leaving a woman, which was weird, but it was like made by wrestling.
Surprisingly, Macho Man isn't so bad.
He's not bad. Kevin Mitchell is a fine rapper.
Fine rapper.
Lenny Dykstra, not as good.
No.
Oral Hershiser, not a good rapper.
Kevin Mitchell, let you know where he's from.
Hulk Hogan, yeah, he will. There's so many of them, all these sports teams where we got to make fun of guys dancing and doing bad things, and we had a blast, laughed our asses off. And Small Town Murders was 3 young ladies who decided that, one of them decided that in a former life she was Jack the Ripper's mother and let him down in some way, so she needed to resurrect him.
Make it up to him.
By murdering someone else. Super fucking weird story.
Yeah.
Hilarious shit. Check that out. Everything there at patreon.com/crime and sports. Or if you just want to be a good person, not get the bonus stuff, but still have Jimmy mispronounce your name, you can go to PayPal. Trust us, every dime counts. Thank you. People give $1 and then they apologize.
Right.
We're like, are you kidding me?
Right.
You just gave us $1.
PayPal took a cut. I'm sorry.
Dude, you gave us $1.
You went out of your way to give us money.
Man.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Whether it's $1 or $50, we're like, holy shit, these people just, they said, you know what I'll do right now? Rather than watch TV or eat something or do something that's beneficial to me,
I'm going to log on to a PayPal.
I'm going to log on to this and give people money. That's an amazing gesture. So we really do appreciate that. And you can do that on PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can get a hold of the show at crimeinsports@gmail.com. Or you can do it on Twitter and Facebook at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. With that said, damn it, Jimmy, I need to hear the list of people who would never, ever shoot us multiple times in the head while we crawled into the middle of the street. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Shelley Frells, Ellie Kamak, she's in Texas, she's terrific.
Nice.
Kristen Anderson, Lisa Newberger, Allie Shirley, Gwen Steele, Leif Steinmetz, Lizzie Wolf, Ashley Bowen, Baraklawa, Nicole Blair, Jesse Plotkin, Carol Braun is back. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
Amanda Berry, thank you very much. She just
Thank
quit her
you,
job and donated. What did she donate? It was her leftover PTO she donated.
Wow,
That was
thank
fucking
you so much.
so sweet. Thank you, Amanda. Joanne Ahern, Alex Etch, Chrissy Ann Castaldi, obviously,
Hey,
Christine
thanks, Chrissy, again.
Warner, and Jordan Bennett. Thank you
Hey,
guys
Jordan.
so much.
Those are some of our favorites
Truly,
there.
yeah.
Thank you,
and
guys.
and in those was a bunch
Everybody's
of words
great.
about how they wanted to help, how sick I was, and
Oh, well, you guys are sweet.
truly from the bottom of my
Thank you,
heart.
guys.
Thank you guys. Thanks for thinking of us. Taylor, other producers this week are Taylor Halfpenny, Sarah Duggan, Amanda Freetag, Rowan with no last name, Dale Lewis, Galia, what is that? Oh boy, Hornado, Jesus, I think it might be Gala.
All right.
I do really terribly with writing. Jack Tufford, Chris Caton, Amanda with no last name, Michael von Tomaszewski, Chris with no last name, Sarah Chai, Caitlin Franklin, Vivian Gorosky, Dan Viglietti, Viglietti.
Dan, what the? It's an Italian name, which I don't know.
Ashley Murworth, Joe with no last name, Brittany Poxon, Miller, I think it's Shy, Allison Newbold, yes, Megan with no last name, Kyle Williams, Deborah with no last name, Dana Reed, Kevin Schrader, Amy Sprinkle, Alex Sinzaba,
That's a cool name.
Heather Elbert, it's like a wine, right? No,
Something.
what is that?
It sounds
I don't
cool.
know what that is.
Either way, it's a neat name.
Madeline Greenfield, Jason Covert, Sam Schurer, Bubble Sprite, Kyle Juarez, Ruben Tirado, Jess Anderson, Donnie Richardson, Owen, is that Owen? Olwyn Searles, Ollie with no last name, it might be Allie, I don't know, Ali, Olivia Crutcher, Monica DeOssi, Micah Shai, Taj Aliji, what is that? I don't know if I wrote a J or an S. Look at this. Is that an S or a J? What is it? Because they could be different, could be the same.
Wow.
You don't know. That's how bad it is.
Well, thank you.
Jocelia Adams, Connor Smith, Victoria Lauren, Ralph Haas, Michelle Warrener, Sarah Rachel, Matt Scarborough, Catherine Ziegler, Amanda Teague, Ty, maybe? Chris Launer, Taylor Swanson, Jenna Bradley, Julia Schuster, what did I do? Fury, Christy Hilton, Lindsay Files, Jared McCluskey, Sean Sinclair, Daniel Trupp, Wendy Gonzalez, Valerie Younkins, Kevin Bartlett, Carla L., Beth Shockey, Melissa McCutcheon, Jerome Becker, Lauren Bradford, Cameron Cleary, Chris Adams, Chris Adams, like the gentleman, right?
Yes, like gentleman Chris Adams.
Nicole with no last name, Cole Mellon, McKenna Mattel, Tylen, Ellsworth, Sean Turner, Joe Fadden, Sean Delory, Haley, God damn it. Catherine Osario, Sarah Radcliffe, Vassal, what the fuck? Santa Radcliffe. Nope, that's Hannah.
Santa? Yeah, it's probably Hannah more than Santa.
More than likely. Kelsey V. Carly.
Some poor Santa sitting out there going, thanks a lot. Guess I don't exist. Great.
Carly Krajovich. No, I think. Vicky Serrano. Joe Gallipo. What is that, James?
Italian.
Yeah.
Fucking wrong is what it is.
Jennifer Taylor. Olivia McQueen. Richard Berman, probably Boomer's brother. Jesse Hensky. Stevie James. Zane Brown. Glenda Pippinich. April Whitner.
Stevie James. Is that the Steve James, the director of Stevie?
Probably.
Awesome.
God damn it. April Whitner, Cecilia. Nope, that's Celia Bolin. Christina Durant, Nicola Mastrantonio, Macy Scalo. It's Italian. God damn it.
Just call him Scalapini and get it over with. You know you want to.
I'm sorry, Macy. Annie Blandy, Shay Prince, Stephanie Akers. It's a fucking mess. James Warner, Mike Carpenter, Martin Corbett, Nicole Aquary, God damn it, Mike McCombs, Flatula Lee Roth, that's easy because it's not real.
Yes.
Carol Goalie, Valerie Siprit, God damn it, Johanna Mullen, Isaiah McAlexander, Carissa Kreft, Christopher Brown, Chris Keys, Brandy Lee, Kenzie Brown, Selena Guerra, Christy Stutz, Jericho Von Brugger, the Jezebel 567. See how hard this shit is? Phil Snodgrass, Anna Janke, I think, Guz Z, Kimmy Parks, Greg Hill, Chad Piercy, Ryan Swift, Hannah B, Mitchell Barros, Janice Melchiori, God damn it, Suzanne Wager, Katie Fahey, Travis Bender, Jennifer Johnson, Mark Schaefer, Joshua McNamee, Jay Henry, Tiffany Ehrlich, Ellie Gonzalez, Stephanie Phelps, I think, Alexis Totus, Chris with no last name, Audrey Ingersoll, David Vineyard, Mr. What is this? Rin 213.
Sure.
Mindy Swigert, Lurky Lurkerson. All right. Sasha Saunders. God damn it. Leslie Valerio. Rangers JT. Jamie Keck. Tituba. Patrick Murphy, DJ, Amanda Kesner, Caitlin with no last name, E. Rock, Tremaine Lasley, Jenny with no last name, Adam Beaton, Stephanie with no last name, Joel with no last name, Danielle Sheeter, Iona Singh, Olin Miller, Justin Hoffman, Sam Metz, what is this, Auntie Halopainen? No, it's never happening. Sean Corbin, Adel Hansen, Emma Ratcliffe, Chuck Brooks, Jane Parks, Emmy Shilpert, Ness Sims, Lindsay Keeler, Geraldine Munson, Boris Kurbanen, Lauren Brennan, Kent Sipanewski, God damn it, Elaine Frudiger, Luke Sheedy, Eric Schiller, Shy Bam Blocker, Taylor Collins, Megan Asbill, John Engel, Justin May, Samantha Lippert, Robbie Luna, Grayson Bancroft, Matt Smith, Alfred Hitch Penis. Got it? Because cock is fucking, it's a dirty word. Catherine Fromm, Dana Kizala, Megan Cox, there's the Cox, hey. Carrie Baker, Carolyn Dunn, Lori Scarpa, because it's Italian, of course. Sam Wigan, Lori Thomas, Alana Kreinert, I don't know, Dennis Avalez, Chris Reber, and his wife. It's their anniversary, Sarah. Happy anniversary.
Oh, well,
Megan
happy
Lynch
too.
Chowning, Chat, what? That can't be right. Gerald L. Nope, that's an N.
Let's hope so.
Steve Schnell, thanks, Steve. Matthew Adorno, because it's Italian. Jason Ammerman, god damn it. Caitlin Stupak, Jude Kendall, Elizabeth Burko, Dick Minge, Brendan Abels, Dakota Harrington, Ashley Vio, Susanna Platt, Issa Kafina, Janice Kraft, Casey Shatters. Happy birthday, Adam Graham. And also, it was Susan Olgis's birthday.
Hey,
and nobody told us to
Susan.
tell her happy birthday, but happy birthday anyway. You're terrific.
Hell yeah.
Gerald N., Matthew Adorno, I said that, Thomas Smith, Jill Calhoun, Michael Calhoun also, John DeLong, Peyton Meadows, Julia Usher Murray, Heath Mauger, Amanda Knight, Charles Stump, James Martyr, of course, Burton Hess, what is that? I think it's an I. Linda Timer, Lindsay Trotter, happy birthday to Sarah de Flumeria. What? That's not right.
Sarah Flumeria?
Yeah. And,
sounds like a good one.
And Kathy Jackson. Those are from Susan. What the fuck? Susan's birthday.
Hey,
she's telling people
happy birthday, Flumeria.
It's ridiculous. Unbelievable. Julia Macaulay and Read It Next. I don't know what that is. I wrote that down. It's something. Tatiana, Titanova Berez Hawawa. I don't know. Her name's got tit in it, and that's going to ruin everything.
It's going to distract you a lot, I feel like.
Richard and Hope Radarmer, it's their anniversary. Sebastian Martin, Kyle Juarez, what is this? Maureen Jones, Zachary Kipfer, Stephen Stadler, Krista Walker, John and Mary Catherine Buck, Katarzyna Niedzolka.
Hey.
I found out the I is pronounced like a W. Frank Crowley, Aaron Baker, and Janice Hill, and of course all of our patron donors. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. You guys are the heart and soul of this show.
Truly.
We just appreciate the shit out of you guys, honestly. Thank you. We love you more than Omar.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's the shit. Jimmy, what if they wanted to get a hold of you? How could they possibly do that?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter and Instagram. And now you know that I have seen The Wire, and you needn't yell at me any longer
to watch it anymore.
Another podcast was ripping off the idea of yelling at the other host because they hadn't seen The Wire. So
really?
I figured, you know what, I should probably just watch it and abandon this bit.
Yeah, we've been doing
everybody
it
else is doing So I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, my God.
Where can they find you?
Oh, I'm at Jimmy P is funny. Just copy and paste my name. It's much easier than figuring all that shit out. But thank you guys so much for everything. Honestly, we hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was one I was kind of saving for a long time because it's pretty fucking cool, honestly. It's pretty goddamn awesome. So hope you have the same opinion and thought it was awesome. And keep coming back next week. We will be here live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
with a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.